across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is the press preview with Andre Walker, Andre Walker, Asher Gould, and Alex Dyke. I can't get
my place.
Can't get it in the wrong order, can I?
I'm not proud.
Okay, we're going to do the press preview. I have to say, obviously, big disappointment that Donald Trump didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, but maybe there is next year. Funnily enough, I was on the BBC this morning debating them, and they were just going absolutely wild about the fact that Donald Trump was in line to get the Nobel Peace Prize. And do you know what? Do you know what I did? Right, you'd be proud of me.
Wound them up.
They were all going, what's going on is a disgrace. The way that the National Guard are being sent in to hurt all the people. I just began discussing his behaviour in terms of the peace process in Nagorno-Karabakh. And let me tell you,
I used to love Karabakh.
They struggled in the debates about Nagorno-Karabakh and the Trump corridor, which a few years before would have been a rude thing to say.
But at least the BBC had you on for balance, Andre.
The Ovaltine window's widening if you're getting in there.
No, I'll be honest with you, 5 Live have always allowed me on. It's the other ones that aren't very keen on me. BBC Northern Ireland used to always have me on, but I always got the impression that it was so Catholics and Protestants could unite in hatred against the English person. Because I arrived there once to tell Brexit was a brilliant idea, and I virtually got lynched by a group of school children. And literally, there was one group of you could literally see that one group of kids were Catholic and the other group of kids were Protestant. But they were all very much.
Are you sure they weren't adults? You know, they're quite a short people.
No, that's the Republic of Ireland. They're quite big in the in Northern Ireland. Okay, well look.
Okay, it's the papers, isn't it?
Well, I thought we start with the Independent.
Right, go on then. Let's have a look. Yeah.
Just because
show the dog the rabbit.
Just because I'm going to say this to you. Hamas saying
the long road home.
Hamas are saying that they are willing. I mean, this is bad. Asher's the expert on this, so I'll hand over to you, right? Hamas are saying that they'd be willing to leave government, but they wouldn't be willing to disarm, right?
It's not really going to work, is it?
Let's just be clear.
Faltering.
What happens 10 minutes after that, Asher?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's only going to go back to war. There has to be a realistic ceasefire and peace, and that means Hamas can't be there, and nor can any sort of, there's Islamic Jihad, there's other groups, and, they're going to have to calm down and live alongside Israel like they did in the 70s when there was no border and everyone crossed into each other's lands and there was no problems. But are they ever going to get like that because of the radicalisation? I don't think it's actually viable.
Do you believe that maybe Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, the hostages will be handed over? And if so, will they be handed over in a respectful way? Because I'm
a bit pessimistic it will happen, because once they're gone, what have Hamas got? You know what I mean? That's their only... that's all they've got against the IDF fully. I mean, then they could just really, go in properly, which they will do anyway, I think. But will they ever... They never would have before, so why would they now? And Israel are refusing to release certain, murderers from prison, and Hamas are now saying they won't be disarmed, so it's not looking like it's going to happen. So
I've got to be honest with you. I understand why they've done it, Alex. But this bloody will exchange one Israeli for 200 dangerous terrorists. And I know it sounds awful, and I hate myself for saying this, but I just wouldn't. I don't want them to do it. I'd rather.
Well, that's how Yahya Sinwar got out after they treated him for cancer.
Explain everything about him.
The mastermind of the October the 7th attack was actually an Israeli prisoner, and he got a lethal cancer which they operated on and cured him of. And then he went out and he said he would do it. He went out and planned the October the 7th attack. The main guy who was shot in the armchair by the drone.
I mean, it's an impossible thing. It's an impossible thing. I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't trade dead bodies for any live terrorists. That I would not do.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
But if it was my family, I would say, look, you know what? I would want my brother back, but not at the expense of 100 terrorists.
And they don't know if they were, because out of the 48, I think it is 28 are thought to be not alive anymore, and they don't know if they'll find all the bodies because, bomb damage, and also because the terrorists who knew where they're buried have been killed, so they're saying they may not get all the dead bodies back. But I agree, you shouldn't sacrifice dead bodies for living murderers.
Yeah, because the problem is Israel, Alex, have been operationally undermined multiple times by these prisoner swaps. And what happens is a civilian, or OK, let's be charitable to the Palestinian cause, the Hamas cause, off-duty soldiers in a country where there's conscription. Virtually everyone's an off-duty soldier.
But I get from...
OK, but to let dangerous terrorists out of prison, it's so dangerous.
And it encourages future kidnaps, of course.
Of course it does.
I get from this that neither of you are, should we say, cautiously optimistic about Monday then?
I am cautiously optimistic, but overall, I just can't see them doing it. They've always scuppered every other ceasefire, and I can't see they're going to give up.
Well, just to tell Alex and remind him kind of where we've got to on this show. So I actually came into it with a third degree of knowledge, not as much as you got now. I came in with really very little knowledge at all on all of this, but I've always repeated back the same comment throughout all of this, that what you need is a properly viable government. I was saying last night that I think that this show has been incredibly pro-Palestinian, incredibly pro-Gazan, and I think that we are more pro-Gazan than Greta Thunberg, because Greta Thunberg wants Hamas to remain in power, whereas what we're saying is let's try and build a nation in this place. I personally think, and people have had a go about the idea of Tony Blair being the governor. I don't care whether it's Tony Blair, but I just think there needs to be a structure, a governmental structure, which is not Palestinian at this stage, which is people from outside, a governor from, say, well, you know, fine, a governor from the United Kingdom doesn't particularly bother me. And I know it's very difficult, and we had all these problems in Basra and Iraq and Afghanistan, but this is the Palestinian situation, the Gazan situation is so bad because all the independent journalists have been murdered. The education system is just a cesspool of hate, right? It's just literally, they don't teach them anything other than Jews are pigs and the West are evil. I mean, we don't get very far beyond that. Then you get the level of theft, the squalor, the theft of aid and all this sort of thing. And I just think we've got to have a governmental structure of some description.
Well, you know what, I mean, Tony Blair, there's a good reason why he's doing it. He's testing out the digital ID. This is going to be a guinea pig for digital ID.
The Hamas don't want Tony Blair, do they?
No, they don't, no. But he's doing it, you know, because his mate, the second richest man in the world, who owns the company, has donated like 400 million to Blair, and they want to get digital ID across the whole world, and so AI can monitor it. So all your details, and they're going to do a sort of test with Gaza when they try and remake it. So that really explains Tony Blair's
but if you think about it, Tony Blair's utopia, whatever you think of it,
it's 1984. It's Orwellian.
Is an improvement on Hamas.
Oh yeah, that's
mind you, everything. I mean, I feel incredibly sad. And you know what? You can call us about this. 0344 499 1000. I feel incredibly sad about the amount of money that's been given and what these people have got left at the end of it. I mean, you think about it, their government literally feared peace so much that they had an incursion. They went to the peace kibbutz. They went to the places where they fly kites saying, let's have peace in the Middle East, free Gaza. They went and slit their throats on FaceTime and on Zoom in order to provoke Israel to invade. That's the government of these people. And then they go right. So we've now got a bigger tube system than London, but no civilians can go down it when the bombs drop. No. What they do is they sit at the entrance so we can film them, so when stray bullets hit them, we can stick them on social media and go viral. I mean, the moral bankruptcy.
Well, they're losing
like
their public support now. Yeah, obviously people have been living in rubble for 2 years a lot of the time, are in tents. And they're actually, which is, some people are saying this is why they're coming to their table as well. And Qatar obviously getting pressured by Trump because there's a lot of investments there. But yeah, the people are pressured. They don't want this, you know, anymore. They're fed up with it.
Yeah. Alex, it feels like we've just beaten you into the floor here.
No, I think the thing is that this has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
And I think a lot of everyday people in Britain would watch the television years and years ago and look at this and think, this is awful, but we can't do anything about it. Like other world disasters and other world issues. They were a world away.
And we're not the world's policemen anymore.
No. We're not.
deluded. They're deluded at Downing
But
Street.
the world is now much, much smaller. For all the things you
I
mentioned,
agree.
like social media and TikTok and FaceTime, and also we have people now demonstrating on our streets about this in their thousands. So it brings it a lot closer to home. And in a way, we are kind of fighting this war in the UK, aren't we? In a way.
Yes, and I would make two
But
comments
it's the
about
same enemy. We've had the terrorist attacks in this country. It's all from the same hymn book.
I've got to be honest with you. I think that's the issue. I think there's a lot of people who look at this. There's a lot of people who blindly do not believe the Gazans are suffering. That is wrong. Gaza has suffered phenomenally, and obviously it is the duty of the world to put it back together after this terrorist group is eradicated. But the number of people who look at what happened in Manchester, who look at what happened at the Ariana Grande concert, also in Manchester, but look at the London Bridge attacks and just go, you know what? These lot are not our friends. We don't care what the IDF does. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but I think there's a fair number of people. But what I would say to people who are very despondent about all this, remember, we never used to call it the Gaza Strip. We always used to refer to the Gaza Strip and Jericho. Do you remember in the 90s? Yeah. Right. Jericho now is a relatively peaceful place because of, admittedly, an awkward arrangement between settlers and a Palestinian Authority, which is a little bit less corrupt than Hamas and definitely less dangerous. So to be fair, there has been some progress made in the Middle East.
But don't you think that when you see all of this on the television and you hear about it on the radio and you see all of these awful pictures and images, this is why people want our borders to be controlled in the United Kingdom. It's more important now than it has been since the Second World War.
It's a national emergency, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
1,000 people in one day the other day, that's £40 million a year that's going to cost us. So you get that, it's about 30 days. That's about $1 billion every 30 days extra on our bill. And we're skint.
The other thing that the Israelis and the very lovely people of the kibbutz discovered, that, you know what, you can welcome your enemy into your country and they will remain your enemy. And these people, I mean, a lot of the people that attacked Israel fundamentally didn't have a problem with the person they worked with at the kibbutz, other than they wanted them to die. You know, they didn't personally dislike them.
No.
But they believed, as a matter of principle, you have to die. And we keep getting told, Alex, and this is what annoys me, we keep getting told that we know nothing about the people that are coming over on the small boats and streaming into this country, but we definitely know they're not Islamic fundamentalists. We definitely know they're not working for Iran. And you end in the ludicrous situation where there's this doctor, he supports Hamas, he's a strong supporter of terrorism. His son goes and attacks a synagogue. He's named his son Mr. Jihad. I mean, you know,
and boasting about it on social media, that doctor.
So,
but
that doctor will not be deported, by the way. What should happen is we'll have the passport back out.
He's got a council house as well, by the way.
a doctor in a council house.
Yeah, a surgeon in a council. I wouldn't want him operating on me. You know what I mean?
But the last time I was in, Ash, you said people are coming into Britain. We are giving them so much in kindness and love and charity. And they are ungrateful because they don't like us. They don't even.
Well, that makes them hate you more. You've got to understand the cultures of these people.
By the way,
if you're weak like that, you're giving them stuff, they think you're even worse than.
By the way, we're about to go to a break, but I just want to say to you that, you know, we had His Majesty, we had His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales talking about suicide. We've had the funeral of Ricky Hatton. We've got the situation in Gaza. Right. This is Friday night, so we are going to have a bit of fun. So I'm going to say to you, right, this is what we always do if we're really struggling for something fun to say. Today, I got 6 chicken thighs from Tesco, and I got some Nando's sauce, and I put it all over it, and I made Nando's in my air fryer.
And when I asked you that, you seemed ashamed of it, but then I said, no, that's actually a good, nutritious meal, and you felt better, didn't you?
Now, if you have got a better fast meal than my Nando's, what have you got, Alex?
My Nando's?
Rice pudding in a can.
What?
Have you seen the posh ones in the tubs now? They're nice.
Yeah, rice pudding in a can. That's what I had last night. But listen, guys, would you mind? I mean, you know I'm...
No, don't, because we're going to go to the break.
Well, let's go Heather first, because this is this is like the bat phone ringing. Heather in Girvan.
About this ceasefire, I'm very objective about this. Do you remember it happened before early this year about the ceasefire with Gaza?
Yeah.
and with Hamas and Israel.
And Starmer said he'll recognise Israel, and then Hamas went away
What
from the...
happened? It all flared up again. What's the guarantee it's going to happen again?
Well,
I
it
think it
probably
will.
won't it, if you look at the odds?
Although,
but, you know.
although to be fair, I think this idea, Heather, and where we're feeling slightly more upbeat. Look, Israel has had the strength to flatten Hamas, and I don't mean about the buildings. I mean the institution of Hamas. The fact the buildings have been damaged as well is neither here nor there to the fundamentals here. I think this idea of nation building with a foreign leader, I think, is a great idea. I think
The
it's
only trouble is, if Hamas are there, all those buildings will be destroyed again in a few years.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, you can't have Hamas there or any other terrorist. Kev...
It's always best to live on caution and caution alone about this ceasefire, because guarantee it might flare up again, this whole tension again, because it sounds like it to me with Hamas is playing mind games with...
There's not many of them left. There's not...
Heather,
have you got an air fryer?
who invented the skip?
Have you got an air fryer, Heather?
No.
What about chicken thighs with Nando sauce? Did you hear that earlier? Have you got a sort of nutritious replacement that you could try at home? Away you go.
I've been thinking about Greta Thunberg, and do you know what? If Greta Thunberg do it for the third time and get her flotillas back out there again...
I will tell you one thing about Greta Thunberg. After all that...
What's that got to do with air fryers?
I bet after that...
That's got nothing to do with air fryers.
We'll lock her up.
I bet Greta Thunberg, after all that vegan food, I bet her flatulence is filth. Absolute filth. No, it will be. Be absolute filth.
Do you have flatulence?
I mean, can I tell you, that boat with all those vegetarians on board heading for Gaza need not have an engine or a sail with all those flatulent animals on board. Disgusting.
Anything else we can help you with, Heather?
Oh, can we have some more prunes? No.
Getting that for peace, getting the award in New York via through telecom.
Prince Harold's Award.
Yeah,
name's
the New
Henry.
Yorker about the humanitarian award.
Well, he's a great guy, isn't he?
Well, tell you what, Greta Thunberg, what Donald Trump has said about her...
And that's Heather and Kevan calling us from South Ayrshire. If you want to join us, call 0344 499 1000. Join us on top. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
You disgrace.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Right, do you know what I'm going to do, Alex? I'm going to tell this story on air so that you know what it is, right? So we're talking about how Matt Goss got very upset once when somebody had to go with his mum. Right, so Matt Goss, I don't really know him. He's come in here, he's good mates with Whale. And obviously, as you know, because I'm not James Whale, I don't like to get too involved, you know, because it feels a bit awkward to do that. So anyway, he sang at James Whale's funeral and was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I saw him at the wake afterwards and I said, Matt, I've just got to say, I'm just blown away by how I just never knew. I said, I know you're really famous. When I was in primary school, it was the biggest hit, When Will I Be Famous, in my last year.
And then he did become famous.
I said, I just didn't know you could do that. And he went, what? Sing in front of a live audience? And I went, oh my God. And he went, no, I understand what you're saying, that I'm a pop star and you didn't know. But the point I was making was he was very moved by it. He sort of, you know, filled up a little bit. And obviously he was mates with Whale, but I got the impression it was straight up, if you say something nice to him or something nasty to him, it will emotionally affect him. He's probably one of those people where if you took to Twitter and called him see you next Tuesday, he'd be genuinely upset.
Well, that documentary about those boys, I think it was on once and it didn't do very well. And then I think they repeated it and put it on Netflix in lockdown, and that Bros documentary went crazy, didn't it? Because they're both very emotional, interesting characters.
They're very different characters.
Yeah. Now listen, talking of music, and I've got this one. Bros's When Will I Be Famous was just at the absolute height in the beginning of MTV.
Oh, nice. Yeah. OK, so I asked the boys if we could talk about this. This is in The Sun. This is in Saturday's Sun. This is in The Sun for today, Friday. RIP MTV. So MTV is going to close all of its music channels around the world except one in the United States. So they blame streaming for this.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never thought MTV.
So MTV really they didn't invent the music video, but they gave the music video a real place to go, and music videos became so much bigger.
Music on its because of it.
Things like Madonna, Like a Prayer, some of the Michael Jackson videos, absolutely unbelievable. But it was that sort of thing. But now, of course, with YouTube, people do watch music videos, and there's somewhere to watch them rather than MTV.
Well, funnily enough, the very first video on MTV.
It was Madonna, wasn't it?
No, it was the Buggles. Video killed the radio star.
Oh, brilliant.
Now, they didn't quite kill off radio, although radio has changed now so much.
Yeah, we had Trevor Horn on the show, me and James. Maybe we should play that one week.
Is Trevor Horn the bloke from Around the Horn?
No, he's the guy from the Buggles.
Video killed the He did a lot of hits in the 80s. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. He did
ABC.
The Art of Noise, ABC. He was one of the most successful producers.
Yeah, terrific talent. Anyway, so that was the first video. And then, of course, as you say, Michael Jackson and Madonna were making these big, epic videos.
I think it was, if we're talking about MTV, you've got to mention Madonna and Michael Jackson, I think.
And Dire Straits. Do you remember Sting did the backing vocals and he said, I want my MTV in it?
Yeah,
and
Money
was
for
one
Nothing.
of the first.
But
install the microwave oven.
The writing on the wall for this goes, I think, way back to about 2002, when the biggest thing on MTV was the Osbournes, which had no music in it. Yeah, that's all it had. Had no music in it. And I remember
he's like, oh, Bubba.
That's just a normal voice.
I remember watching it and thinking, this show's great. But what's it doing on a music channel? And that
did you write a letter of complaint?
No, I didn't.
To Barry Took?
No, I didn't.
Barry Took, yeah.
But now a lot of the music videos have now been redone. So I know that Last Christmas by Wham is now in 4K.
Yeah.
I happen to know that because there was bits of it that they couldn't convert.
He's a big Wham fan.
Or whatever.
Just admit it.
Yeah, look, I'm
good. Wham like the next man.
I'm good with Wham. Wham bar and indeed the music. But there is such a big market now for music videos that people are re-releasing stuff that came out in the 1980s.
But YouTube is king. So Talk for me, I either watch it on YouTube or I
Yes.
watch it on. So when I get in, I put it on the Fire. I've got a thing called a Fire Stick, right? So
Yeah.
I should put it on there. But I usually watch it on YouTube.
We know what Fire Sticks are. Don't worry about that.
Oh yeah,
We're up to date.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure you are, but the Fire Stick never gets a mention, doesn't it? Available
Fire
on.
Stick,
Boom, boom, boom.
yeah.
Anyway, I mean,
Rakuten, that never gets
YouTube is
a
now bigger than ITV. So
Yes.
forget ITVX.
Yeah.
YouTube is bigger. It's
Well,
the
it's I don't even have a Sky or Virgin box, and I've got rid of it, and I just watch online anything.
so the
Like me and the rest of the youth, that's what
the
we
show
do
you
now.
were just on before this one.
Yeah,
What just happened?
it's massive. Sometimes
It's
we
a
get
massive
700,000
YouTube hit.
800,000
Yeah.
on that. And it's big
Plank of
over
the
the
week.
world as well, so it goes to America, Australia.
But I'll tell you,
Because of YouTube.
It's all down to me.
I'll tell you what, I've got a YouTube channel which sometimes
I've seen it. I follow you.
Do you?
What's the name of it?
Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But when I was doing stuff about Harry and Meghan, there was a statistic about my YouTube channel which was 2%, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's 1 in 50 people had watched, British people had watched an Andre Walker video within the past 10 days. Right.
Yeah, but
which
what
is a
was
pretty.
the breakdowns? Were they ABC ones? Or
Oh, no, I mean, I didn't-
well, that's important.
Well, it is to you. It wasn't to me. Wasn't to me.
The
But
advertisers.
it's amazing how
right
ubiquitous
people.
it is, and it's amazing the way that. I mean, my dad. Funnily enough, when I started my YouTube channel, I was interested in what my dad did and what he did at the time. I don't know if he still does it now, but he.
Didn't you know what your dad did?
He had a tendency after dinner to watch various clips of things just on his phone. And I thought this is quite interesting because we've got all this big production at ITV and the BBC, but you're never going to see that if you're watching on your phone screen.
And programmes, films, dramas that are made for Amazon Prime or Netflix, they now always take into consideration what they call the second screen.
Yes.
So you could be sat in the lounge and you're watching it, and as you're watching it, you're on eBay looking for a motor, your wife's booking a holiday or
Yeah.
looking at clothes or whatever.
yeah.
So they have to make programmes now because of the second screen. Because
But if
What do they do different then?
well, they make things easier to follow. They make them slower. So a lot of these Netflix things, they could all be over in 4 episodes, but they make them last 12 because obviously it makes sense.
Well, that's good because it's lengthening our attention span, which is getting so short, and so maybe it's a good exercise.
But it's amazing actually. So my mum and dad built a house, and you know how you build a dream home, you include things that other people don't include. They include effectively a his and hers lounge. Right, simply now you might think that they'd fallen out in some way, but I can assure you they hadn't. But after dinner, he liked to watch football, and she liked to watch things like the Poirots and all this sort of thing.
Is this when you were an adult or when you were a child?
No, when I was an adult, so it's fairly recently. But of course, when they built it, it was in that period where people had multiple TVs in that brief period, which was probably only about 15 years, where people had TVs in every room before the advent of individual screens and headphones. Because of course now what you would do, most people would do, is just stick their headphones in, watch different stuff in the same room.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, there's another story in the paper about.
All right, calm it, son. You've got your MTV one.
No,
right?
no, but just
Don't
saying.
go overstory the pudding.
No, we're not having that. We're going to. No, I'm joking. Go on.
Phones and screens are disconnecting us from our loved ones, says Kate. Right?
But is that a bad thing?
So well,
But I knew a couple who were married who used to tweet each other during films.
That's beautiful, man.
These sat next to each other.
I thought
They
you
go,
were say
"Hey."
during
It's
sex.
quite beautiful.
Can you imagine?
It's
You
like
tweet
sending
it.
little notes, little
Yeah,
love
but
notes.
when
to
you're
each
on
other.
a train or a car ferry or whatever you're on, or you're in a railway station and you see families and they're all on the phone, do you think you're with the wrong people?
Yeah.
We should be with the people that we're talking to.
Yeah.
And they pick people that families don't have their dinners with each other anymore.
Or what about the worst thing on trains, which I get quite a lot, is when you sit opposite a couple and one of them writes something on the phone, shows the other one, then she looks at you and laughs. And you think, I don't know what's been said. I don't know what's been. It's normally Boris Johnson that's been
Right,
said.
let's get Philippa on. Philippa, in Poole.
Hi, Ash.
All right.
I'm not actually in Poole at the moment. I'm in a foreign country watching you guys on YouTube.
Where
Where?
are you? Mexico?
You're never going to guess.
Wales.
Guatemala?
You're never going to guess.
Isle of Wight.
No, hang on, Zambezi land. North Korea.
The Congo?
No.
The Belgian
I'm not
Congo,
gonna tell
Alex?
you.
Luxembourg.
No, hang on, Somaliland.
No.
Right,
Give us a clue.
Eritrea.
I'm weird. Oh, gosh, you're going to let me speak?
No, hang on, Guatemala. Did we have
Yeah,
Guatemala?
I said that.
Guatemala. French Guiana.
Just tell us.
Oh, no, I've got it. The Central African Republic, the one that always wins you pointless. If you say the Central...
Are you in Wales?
It might be. I am with the lovely Georgina from London, and I'm calling because she's just been in surgery for 4 hours having bone grafts, and she can't speak. And we've been watching talkTV most of the day while she's recuperating, and we've been watching about Trump, and we think he should have won the Nobel Peace Prize.
You're in Turkey, aren't you?
Well, I'm not saying. And,
yeah, Georgina said she was going to Turkey for a reconstruction.
You're making her laugh now, and she's in a.
She's being reconstructed.
Yeah, she's being built. And she's gonna end up looking like Lizzie Cundy.
Anyway,
how old is Lizzie on average?
The other thing that we wanted to talk about was we're really concerned about Nigel Farage. We think he should be protected at all costs.
You're right, yeah.
And
they've cut down his security. It's very suspicious because, the other day, Starmer was really laying the boot in and putting him in more danger as they're cutting down the security.
Well, I've got to be honest with you, if you were to go onto my YouTube channel right now, don't do that, do it after the show, but I talk about the fact that Donald Trump was warned about the fact that US Secret Service were deliberately leaving holes in his security in order that he be killed. I worry, and by the way, what he did in the end, he had Blackwater Security, Eric Prince's people, having a second boundary, a second line of defence behind the US Secret Service to make sure they didn't accidentally allow somebody with a gun into one of his events.
Well, I think that's probably true of Nigel Farage. The reason why they've lessened his security is so that it would be easier for people to take a pot shot at him.
I think
it won't cause any trouble for any other parties if he's not around. But God forbid that would happen. I hope to God that it doesn't.
Well, I was just going to say God forbid, but if it did happen, I think there would be huge riots in Britain.
I agree with that.
I just think that the country would go mad if that happened.
I think the individual police do their job as much as they can, but it's deliberately cutting it down and making sure there's not enough security. Anyway, thank you so much, Philippa.
What country was she in?
She was in Turkey.
She wouldn't say, but it was Turkey.
Okay, do you remember that on Family Fortunes? Turkey. What were the questions? What's the thing you take to the beach? Turkey. What's the thing you first take to the beach? Turkey. What's the thing that you first buy in a supermarket? Turkey. An animal so often stuffed? Turkey. And then he got nothing else. So his answer all turkey. And the reason he did it...
What, Family Fortunes?
Family Fortunes. The reason he did it was because he'd actually overheard his brother or his cousin answer chicken, and he thought it was the answer to the first one. So he thought, if the answer is chicken, the second answer will be turkey. But he thought it was the first one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But...
Was that when it was Les Dennis, or...
that
do you remember Bob Monkhouse in it? And
Max Bygraves did
Max Bygraves.
Big money!
OK, let's read this out. Andre, use Maggie piri rub for the thighs and then dollop the sauce all over them once cooked. No, because you need the crispy skin of a Nando's-y type thing. I reckon the way to do it is to get a baker's brush, water down the sauce and put it all over. Do you know why I did that? Because that's what they do in Nando's itself. But I will tell you, £18 for Nando's and you can't even have a refill on your Coca-Cola. No! That's
like Thatcher.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, Max Bygraves came on the show about 30 years ago, and after I took him in a voice booth, to do that thing where you go, hello, I'm Max Bygraves, and I said, can you just say, I'm Max Bygraves? And he went, it's OK, Sonny, I've been in this business for 50 years.
well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it was Roland Rat. I think he was the voice of Roland Rat.
I'll tell you what. My brother, when my brother was a radio presenter, do you remember that TQ, the rapper, the guy was 3 times for my brothers in incarceration. I've got some love for you and for having lots of patience. 3 times for my sisters.
Must have just been big where you're from.
Anyway, my brother was called Dominic. My brother is called Dominic Walker, and they got him in the studio in London, and he goes, "Whenever I'm in Warrington, I listen to Dominic Walker." No, it's just Dominic. Just Dominic. He goes, "That's what I'm saying. Anytime I'm in Warrington, I listen to Armenique walker.
And of course, he was often driving through Warrington.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what they used to do apparently in this company before they got rid of the local radio stations, they'd sit these people down. They'd just go, "Hello, I'm Phil Collins. Whenever I'm in Sunderland, I listen to SFM. Stop." And then you go, "Hello, I'm Phil Collins. Whenever I'm in Birmingham, I listen to Kicks 96 or whatever it is. Hello, whenever I'm in Wigan, I listen to Wish FM."
Don't you giving away all the secrets, Andre?
Well, nobody listening to Wish FM in Wigan genuinely or 2BR in Burnley genuinely believes that anytime Phil Collins is in Accrington, he listens to Dominic Walker on 2BR. I mean, come on.
Most people do. Bob, Hertfordshire Bob.
Evening, lads. Listen, I've come up with a really good business plan. I wondered if you want a bit of the action.
Like Dragonstone, okay, yeah, hit us with it. How much do you want from what percentage?
Come on.
Okay, listen to it as this. There's a lot of controversy about banning the burqas, and there's a lot of controversy about Union Jacks. The Union Jacks are going up.
Oh, here we go. I see where you're going to go with this. Come on.
Well, I'm gonna make Union Jack burqas.
Yay! Come on. A Union Jack burqa. So what you can do is you can tick both boxes. You can remain a fundamentalist whilst
And show
also
loyalty.
Supporting flying the flag for Britain.
We do a shoplifting version with false arms. So we put false arms in the burqa, and then we got our hands inside.
Think about.
I didn't quite get that, but okay, fair enough.
Think about the burqa, right? And I know you're going to talk about it later, so I'm not going to steal your thunder. But before we were used to that in the UK, do you remember the IRA balaclava? Well, of course you do, right?
Yeah.
Nobody liked that.
No.
This isn't about religion or race. No one likes.
Well, let's just be clear. If you can find anything within the Quran that says you're required to wear the burqa, then that's fine. It's not in there. It is the traditional dress of Saudi Arabia. If you are a Saudi Arabian person, then I would suggest you can wear it. Otherwise, and I said to Danielle,
it's practical.
When Danielle Nichols moved to Saudi Arabia, I said she shouldn't be a hypocrite. She's telling people that they should assimilate in Britain. So I bought her a burqa, and everybody went wild and said,
You'll get a Union Jack.
I couldn't present it to her on air. I said, no, she should. When in Rome, do as Rome do. But here's what annoys me about the burqa, which I wouldn't ban, by the way, because I don't believe we should tell people what they should wear. It's ludicrous for people from Bangladesh who live in East London to wear the burqa, because neither is it useful in London, nor is it the traditional dress of Bangladesh, nor it is to Islam what a raincoat is to Christianity, as in something that some Christians wear. Because of
Jesus never had a raincoat, did he?
Exactly.
Right, we'll take a little breaky on that bombshell. 03444991000. Thanks, Robert, for that. That's a good business idea, but you've given it to us anyway, so we can just nick it. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, I couldn't stand him, and they called him Putin anyway. But the Isle of Wight got rid of him in the end. Oh, sorry. Hello, and welcome back. I do apologise. Oh, you've caught me. OK, what about this? 2.5 million people on fat jabs. Right, are you happy?
Fatty Britons on fat jabs.
We've got somebody who works here, and I won't say who it is, who's on the fat jabs and now looks like Zelda from...
The thing about this is it's expensive.
You asked me who was it? Yeah, they've dumped that. They've dumped that now because I wasn't allowed to say who looked like Zelda of the Terrorhawks.
Yeah, he'll be upset. Yeah.
All right.
Or she.
Okay.
Or she. He'll be upset. Or she. That's not made up.
But anyway, they've apart from that, they've banned the burqa in Italy. They've actually finally gone and done it because of the divide it causes, and also, not a lot of women are forced into it.
I've got to be honest with you.
Of women.
So first of all, in France, there was a survey. Now I don't know how representative that is of the East End of London or other Islamic areas in Britain, but 90% of women in France who wore the full face covering said that they didn't want to do it and had been forced into it by their family. I don't know if that's true in Britain.
It's probably the same here, isn't it?
I'd have thought so. I personally would not ban any clothing. I think if you want to walk around looking idiotic, I think that... And by the way...
What about the security issues?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in banks and so on and so forth. And by the way, I think a full face covering does make you look either sinister or idiotic or both. And I would stand by that simply because anyone who claims that it's vital for Islam to cover your face is simply wrong.
Well, there's something in our makeup where we are reading situations all the time. We don't even realise we're doing it.
Yes.
And there's a very good reason why you can't go to a filling station with a full facial crash helmet on. You can't fill your bike up and you're not meant to keep the visor down because if you go, they think you're going to rob the store. So this is nothing to, like I said before, this is nothing to do with religion, is it? It's the way it makes us feel.
Well, we also have facial recognition cameras, which I'm against, but if we have them, everyone has to be able to show their faces, or it's prejudice, isn't it, against people who don't cover their faces.
What happens to those people who believe that the purpose of wearing a full burqa is to say, I hate the West, this is a rebuke to your values, your system of democracy, your system of freedom? I mean, I have to say to you, I don't understand why somebody who's a Bengali immigrant to the East End of London or to Birmingham adopts Saudi religious dress or Saudi traditional dress, or unless they're trying to make a political statement, because it's not a religious statement in any way, because Islam doesn't require it.
But the whole thing about the burqa is we don't know who's under it anyway, do we?
Yeah, it has been used by terrorists as well. It has been used. And it does, separate when you see whole areas with that on. It's, it's not the British way of doing things, isn't it? When in Rome, you should...
I mean, also, I think the other thing is when people say you must respect my tradition, very often that's only goes one way. It is our tradition to believe that people who wear a black hood over their heads are evil. That is our tradition. It's got nothing to do with Saudi traditional dress. It's got nothing to do with the burqa, the niqab, or anything like that. But we associate covering your face. We associate the colour black with something sinister, evil, and bad.
Yeah, in the 1500s, if you went out with your face blacked, it was execution. So I think about that.
Although that was
that's
large.
Probably going too far.
That was large. But people would black up. The reason people put charcoal on the face had nothing to do with insulting people from Africa who they'd never met at that point. Yeah, exactly. It was in order to commit crime and not to be recognised subsequently. That's the reality of it. Look, I what frustrates me is that, when we say we have a right, I think you have a right to wear a burqa if you want, and I think I have a right to say it looks ridiculous. Now, if that upsets people, it doesn't really bother me, but I wouldn't ban it. And what I would like to see is for us to de-radicalise those communities so people don't...
But don't you think it's the subjugation of the women?
I fear that. I fear
So
that.
why wouldn't you ban it then?
Because I think it's not really the solution to the problem. The problem is the radicalisation of this country, and that's immigration, and it's also money being spent on radicalisation. Whatever you want to wear, I'll tell you what I find extraordinary. If I were to walk around in a burqa, I think the police would arrest me for a religious motivated hate crime.
There's only one way to find out.
But I mean, the idea. So as an example, I said once. So is for people who cross-dress. I thought. Sorry, that was the name of the nightclub. Right, okay. So there's a name of a nightclub that we can't say thanks to Ofcom, which is utterly ludicrous. I hate Ofcom. They should get a proper job. But anyway, so the nightclub is for cross-dressing people. And I said, well, why can't I go in a burqa? And they said, well, that would be offensive. Well, hang on a second.
That's a good point,
hang on a second. If I'm impersonating a Muslim, well, you're impersonating a woman.
It's a good philosophical point.
Right? I mean, drag is blackface for women, isn't it?
Woman face, they call it.
Of course it is. Of course it is. So I don't understand how you can go in drag to a club and I can't go. Besides, I was thinking, if you wanted to look like a genuine woman, the easiest way to do it, if you're a bloke, is to wear a burqa.
Yeah, but there have been men in burqas, as you say, being discovered in airports
There
as
was one who was like
terrorists.
6'3", wasn't there? And it was so obvious, but you know, no one would question him. And I think
We've all seen ones like that, haven't we?
yeah.
All right.
there's a market for everything.
Indeed.
Right, we've got a little breaky, haven't we?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, this is the pay-per-view with Andre Walker, Asher Gould and Alex Dyke. Okay, let's go to this Shall we talk about David Paulsden? Sorry, Zach Polanski, the man who changed his name. He reckons he can make your boobs bigger by simply using hypnosis. He's the leader of the Green Party. I personally, he annoys me simply because he's one of those people. He goes, what we need to do is have a positive message. We need to talk about change. Let's tax the rich. It's just hating people.
And I've got a quote from someone. I don't know who it is because it doesn't say, but Yusuf, what's his name?
Zia Yusuf.
Zia Yusuf, yeah. When Zach Polanski is making seductive claims to you, it's important you understand that before he came into politics, he made money by charging women who could enlarge the size of their breasts by hypnotising them. And apparently he did have some successes.
No, he didn't.
Well, that's what he says.
No, people will say, oh, I feel it's working. It's not.
Placebo effect. It can. Apparently a man can lactate when his wife's pregnant. He was on Piers Morgan yesterday saying women have penises.
Yeah, he's absolutely firm that a woman can have a penis.
How is he leading a party, a man like this?
Who
He
knows?
thinks women have penises and you can make your breasts bigger.
Yeah, but Keir Starmer was asked more or
He
less the
thought
same
women...
question,
But
wasn't he?
at least he said only a few women have penises. Yeah, not as bad as it.
I think what we should do
Zach
is...
Polanski said all women have
We
penises.
should just make it easy, right? We're all women, and there are two categories of women. There are the attractive, fragrant ones, and the hairy monster ones, right? And we'll say, right, so like the fragrant, attractive ones can have one changing room, and the fat, ugly ones can have the other, and that will be the new differentiation, right? But if we say we're all women, right? Oh no, you are a woman.
Yeah.
You are a woman. You just won the women with a hairy
Who
chest.
would choose it?
So you'll go in this.
Who would choose who? I suppose AI would do it now. AI.
No. What I'm
We'd have a pageant.
What I'm saying is
AI pageant.
the way to steal their thunder is for everybody to claim to be a woman, but just say all those women that were born with a penis have to go in one changing room, and all those women who
But
weren't born with a
Polanski
penis.
says they're all got penises.
No, you just say there's two categories of women with penises and women without penises, and that's it. We're all women.
Can he hypnotise them smaller? Because I know some women who've actually had... I remember famously Heather Mills McCartney, Lady Heather Mills, her breasts were too big and they were cumbersome, so she had them reduced.
Yeah, but she's also a well-known liar, isn't she?
Well, no, that was for a different reason.
Right, the problem is...
Yeah, but I didn't want to repeat what he said.
Right, can we just be clear?
I didn't want to repeat
when
what
you
he said.
she'd had her breast reduced, and then you stopped and went, no, that's different. It was for a different reason. You realise that everybody knows what was said in your ear
Not
at that
necessarily,
point.
not necessarily.
Everybody knows.
Alex, what's your views
Everybody
on
knows
Zach
what was
Polanski?
said in your ear.
Well,
That's not his real name, by the way.
I think
His name is David Paulsden.
yeah.
Alex. Is it his real name, Alex? No. Zach
real name is
Polanski
Alex.
is not his real
Yeah.
name.
Yes,
I think if you're leading a party, you've got to be very, very careful what you say. But having said that, I don't want people not to be themselves. I want passion. I want emotion. I want your beliefs. I want MPs to stand up and say, do you know what? Do you know what I would really like an MP to say? As to say a Tory gets up and says, do you know what? We were wrong about that. And Labour did make a good point.
Yeah.
Right? Make it believable. Make me think that you're in the same room as me. Whatever party it is, but
it sounds like your anger with Conservative Party conference last week is when you looked at it and you thought, yeah, but everything you're complaining about was literally stuff you did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
You started
And
it
They
all.
still haven't come clean.
No.
But Zach Polanski is going to do well with this popular green, this green populism, this idea that you can come up with crazy green policies, but then demand tax the rich and give everybody.
But he looks like he's taking the mick in his face, doesn't he? And I think he is. But if you look at him when he's talking, he looks like I don't really believe what I'm saying.
How does it make you feel, Asher, when he's changed his name to something that sounds very Jewish? I mean, he grew up Jewish. His name was David Paulsden before or whatever, and he's changed it back. He's changed it to Zach Polanski. But also, I think I'm just gonna say this straight out. I think he's changed his name to something sounding more Jewish, so he can get away with all the anti-Israeli stuff that he gets
I
up
think
to.
it's just changed because it sounds more showbiz, doesn't it? Zach Polanski rather than what's his name? Dave what?
Dave Paulsden, I think. it was.
Dave Paulston. It's not very showbiz. Zach Polanski. I think that's the sort of guy he is.
Sounds like a film director.
Yeah, well, right.
Well, that's not great, though, is it?
Not a good one, though. Yeah.
No, it's not great. No, he is a good film director.
Oh, very good, but a paedophile.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Okay.
A couple of messages have flooded in.
Okay. So if I decide to wear a paper bag over my head with 2 eye holes cut out, is that okay?
It's legal. It is legal.
Okay. I'm sorry, but in my younger days, I was a biker and I had to remove my lid to enter a bank. So why should people be allowed to cover themselves for religious reasons? Then Nicola says, I'm seeing more and more people with the niqab in Slough. It's such a thing. I don't know where they're all coming from. I saw a man in Sainsbury's with 5 women of various ages, all with a black niqab. So sad. I've got to be honest with you. When Robert Jenrick was talking about the lack of integration, I got on the train from Slough because I live in Windsor, and I must admit 40 people walked past me, of which there were 2 white people. Now, you know, ultimately, it doesn't bother me about the colour of people's skin, but I'm with Robert Jenrick. I think it demonstrates that immigration is out of control. I do not believe that when I walk into an area of Slough where you cannot see a white person at all, that is evidence of quality integration.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, I think that we're getting back once again to it's not to do with the colour of people's skin. I don't believe that hardly anyone has a problem with that.
I think that's probably right.
I think it's to do with the difference in cultures.
Exactly.
And if you come to our country and you live the way we live, like if I was going to Italy or Pakistan or wherever, I would respect their values and traditions.
But nobody does that in real life. Nobody goes to so say the Brits that move to Dubai, right? They all hang around with other Brits, right? They all know each other. There's all, you know, the quote unquote expat community. If we move to Pakistan now, what's the first thing we try and do? Seek out where the British people were.
Where you can get a fry up.
I get that, and I've lived abroad, and I became an expat, and I remember saying to my wife, let's just live like Americans, let's not go and join the expats. And within 2 months, I wanted some British company.
Exactly right.
Right? But if I...
Yeah, but you were in Geneva. Why live like an American?
but if we went to Pakistan now to live, and we wanted to hang out, we would still respect their rules and their culture.
Yeah.
Because they'd make us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being funny.
Yeah, but I think we'd do it
I mean,
anyway.
I watched Sky the other day interviewing the Taliban, and she was wearing a head covering. And you think, you're literally doing it on Zoom, right? And you're still respecting their culture. Sky News would never stand up for our culture in Britain.
No, well, you may be right there, but I you know, Chinatown and Little Italy, they work because people are drawn to the people that they're like, and we shouldn't be made to feel guilty about that.
Yeah, the problem is that you're in the wrong country. If you want to live like a Pakistani, you want to live in Pakistan.
Anyway, look, we've got to go now. Thanks, Alex. Alex is going now, and in the next bit, we're going to play a clip from the great James Whale. Thanks for coming in, Alex.
Pleasure, guys.
It's been brilliant. Yeah, 0344 499 1000.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah. Oh.
We're on then. And here we are. Wait for our faces.
OK, sorry about that. I don't know if we flashed on the screen and flashed in. This is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. As you know, this used to be the James Whale Show, and so we have a permanent memorial to the great man that we bring on at around 11 o'clock every single Friday. You can nominate your clips, 0344 499 1000. But of course, as with every week, it falls to Asher Gould to introduce it.
And yeah, this one is from 2 years ago. An animal rights group, PETA, they said men who eat meat should be banned from having sex by presumably their girlfriends or boyfriends even, or wives, husbands, claiming that it's a symptom of toxic masculinity. But you need meat, I think. You know, it's no good all these nut cutlets. It's killing the planet, they say. James Whale discussed the story with vegan activist Dylan Parsons, and here he is. This is the clip of Dylan Parsons, a vegetarian. Look at his pasty face, and he's very weak. But here he is. Let's have a look at this man talking about banning sex if you eat meat.
Oh my gosh, Dylan is an animal rebellion activist, and the reason we're talking about this tonight is apparently you have to stop eating meat if you want sex.
You're not going to glue yourself to Lizzie, are you?
No, he won't, because if he's got any glue, I will deal with him myself.
Stick yourself to James.
You know what happens if I deal with people, so I suggest you don't. The fact is that this is the most ridiculous. Why are you guys now, and the other people, of course, who are promoting this? We had a guy on the other day who said milk is racist. Why are you making yourselves out to be so stupid? Because, you know, a lot of people, I prefer animals to human beings. I like the taste of some of them. I like my dogs. Some people in your position don't think people should have pets, I know. Are you one of those, by the way?
Well, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me
No, you
on
said
here,
that. Don't thank me, because it might go ugly if you do that.
But also, I had no idea about what you're about to ask me. Anyway, I've been told you're here to talk about protests. But, yeah, so in Animal Rebellion...
questions I ask you. That's what you're here for.
In Animal Rebellion, we are demanding that the government support farming and fishing communities in an immediate transition to a plant-based food system. And then that land which is freed up, which would be 50% of British land, will then be used for rewilding and restoring nature back to the UK how it was.
Right, I know you're nervous. I can hear from your voice. So let me just repeat that so we know. So what you want to do is you want to change farming in this country and presumably eventually around the world. So we don't farm animals, we farm vegetables and what?
Well, we're demanding that the government transition to a plant-based future, which...
But those are vegetables, aren't they?
Yeah, that's vegetables.
Yeah, vegetables, yeah.
So farmers are out of a job.
No, you've got to grow them.
I'll just grow them.
No, they've got to grow them.
Cows will be out
the
of
way
a
the
job.
government are treating farmers right now, I mean, we've seen reports at the moment, just only a couple of hours ago, that the government are looking at removing all environmental subsidies for farmers, so they are already struggling a lot more. We are demanding that...
That's fake news. That they haven't said that. But I don't want to talk about that at the moment. I want to talk about what you want to talk about. You've come in here to talk about this stopping people eating meat. Now, why? That's fine if that's what you believe. One of the big problems I have at the moment, and I'm going to break this news in a moment. This is news which you're going to enjoy. I'll do it in a minute about issues around green issues. But what you want to do is you want to stop us eating meat, not just because of the environment, because of our health, I presume.
I mean, I'm not here to talk about health. I'm here to talk about the climate crisis.
Okay, fine.
So,
well, there is. I mean, a lot of people say there is no climate crisis, and you've just manufactured one for your own ends.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to disagree with what the majority of scientists are saying.
Well, that's what we do in a free country. Aren't we allowed to disagree? Because I could bring you loads of scientists who will tell you a lot of these scientists who say we're heading for destruction of the planet and everything else like that is complete rubbish.
I mean, if you look at reports like the IPCC report, where 234 scientists wrote this report taken from 40,000 studies. These are the majority of scientists.
It doesn't make any difference, my friend, because what happens is science changes as we progress. So let's not argue about that. You've got your point of view, I've got mine, so leave it there. What you want to do is force everybody to agree with you. But that is not democratic. So how are you going to do that?
I mean, to talk about democracy, I think everyone in the government in power right now has not been elected by the general public. So I think there's a huge problem.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for. When was the last time we got a general election?
Vote, did you?
I did vote.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I did.
But
vote.
are you so stupid you can't remember who you voted for?
You must remember who you voted for.
You voted for Boris, didn't you?
No.
Did you vote for Boris? Oh, well done. Well
You
done.
voted for Boris?
Well done. Good
When
man.
did I say?
Did you vote for Boris? Well done. No, you know, and Boris's
This is
wife
ridiculous.
Boris's
She's a
wife
vegetarian.
is vegetarian and a big Green supporter, which I've had words with
Okay.
Boris and told him it's not a good
Well,
idea.
if you want to look at the cost of living crisis or COVID, we know that the government do not know how to respond to crises at the moment, and the climate crisis is another example of that
They
right now.
responded to the COVID virus better than most of the nations on the planet. They did a better
First
job.
roll the vaccine out. They were very good.
They did very well. What are they not doing that you would like them to do as far as the climate crisis? There isn't a climate crisis. There is a crisis of us not being good enough to the planet. We throw litter away all over the place. I hate it. We pollute. We do all this sort of rubbish. And I mean, you haven't even
We all
watched
eat
it from on the show
vegetables. There'll be
tonight,
loads of methane, won't there?
Yeah.
That's not
Can I ask a question? How do you protest? Because I'm very upset with those that stick their hands to the motorway. Because my friend was trying to get to her hospital appointment to have chemotherapy and couldn't get there on the M25. And literally, I thought, do you realise that what you're doing? You're actually
killing some people.
I mean, you're referring to the protest group Insulate Britain.
Well, I'm asking how you protest.
In Animal Rebellion, in the last recent months, we have been shutting down the supply of dairy, as we know. That is one of the
haven't
key
seen any of
contributors
that.
to the
You threw
climate
milk on the
crisis.
floor of Harrods.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't you, was it?
Yeah, you
No,
threw
not me
milk.
personally, no.
No. And some of you guys stuck your hands to the walls outside the building here.
That also wasn't Animal
Wasn't it?
Rebellion.
Oh, right. What, I thought you all linked together. I thought you all had
You stay safely at home and you tell them to go and do
I
it
think
while you
the
sit in
common
your
theme
armchair.
is we all know that we're heading towards a terrible future right now, and we all want a much better future, which transitioning to a plant-based future gives every single person on this planet a much better chance of
But
surviving
can I
and
ask you
thriving.
something? Throwing milk all over Harrods, do you not think that's like thuggery? I mean, what is the point, apart from making an awful mess and embarrassing yourselves?
Did she say,
Why?
are we hitting more buggery? Is that what she said?
Thuggery.
Oh,
Thug.
thuggery, right? Thuggery, sorry.
Thuggery.
Yeah, good.
In Harrods?
Yeah, it was in Harrods. Through all the
Yeah.
milk.
Okay, let's get to the point. Okay, now I'm going to reveal something that you might not like tonight. I didn't know we were doing this. I was going to do it later. The reason that nobody is getting overly upset about the cost of fuel, petrol and diesel, we can't get. Heating your homes is getting more and more expensive.
We are upset.
And do you know why? Because it's actually playing into these guys' thing. It's stopping us driving. It's stopping us heating our homes, and it's actually polluting the country a lot less.
Milk's gone up a lot as well.
And during the lockdown, okay, the state of the air and everything else got a lot better. So I think that probably had something to do with it as well. So, you know, I don't know what
You've
you're
won
complaining
it.
about.
In a way, you've won.
Because you're complaining
What
about.
about genetically engineered meat, so you could actually grow meat?
I mean, there are options like precision fermentation, which are, like, what scientists are proving right now is a great alternative to transitioning.
You could genetically engineer a plant and a bit of a cow and grow steak.
I mean, I don't know much about the science there.
That's the
Well, I thought you did. You just quoted to me how many scientists there were.
I've been listening to the scientists from the IPCC that are telling us that we are in a climate emergency.
Yeah, well, they're telling you that because scientists have their points
They're
of
trying
view.
to
but then
frighten
they
you,
all,
man. Don't be scared, man.
What are you going to do then? Because nobody's going to listen to you. Nobody's going to do this. The farmers aren't going to listen to you. They're very annoyed with you, as you probably know. So what are you actually going to do? How are you going to achieve this? What are you going to do?
I mean, actually, we've had people in Animal Rebellion going to farming events and speaking to farmers about the transitions there, and I've heard a lot of really good responses there.
Like what?
I wasn't there, so I don't know the full responses.
Well,
but
you're not very good at answering questions, are you? If you don't go there, you don't know the answer to the question. Come on.
Farmers don't listen
shouldn't
to
you
you.
come on a
Farmers,
programme
right,
like
let's be
this
honest,
and say...
Farmers are very...
Farmers don't like you.
They're
I've
very
done
set in their ways,
Hang on,
farmers.
I've done some research. I phoned some farms today. I said, have you had any problem with these morons? And
You
they
told
said,
me you didn't read the notes before you came on.
oh,
the
this
show.
is something... I do 4 or 5 shows. I'm not for this. I've done loads of shows. Honestly, you are a bit of an idiot. And you put yourself into a position like this, you're just going to make people think, these guys don't know what the friggin' hell they're talking about. And I'm being nice to you tonight, trust me.
Yeah.
I actually don't know why you have I mean, I don't know, you've been brainwashed, I don't know what's gone on. But you are not going to get any of us to stop eating meat. This whole ridiculous thing saying, meat-eating men sex banned by vegans. I mean, that'll grab headlines, but it's not going to make anybody listen to what you have to say.
So, OK, let me just ask this question.
That's very hurtful, what you just said.
Yeah, well, you look better now, let's just be clear.
What, you mean my hair?
No, your belly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I've just given up smoking. Yeah, my mic. Just turn my mic off a second.
Okay, what I want
it's a malfunction. 30 years in this business.
Well, it's just
crazy.
We
never had these.
It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so we have another James Well clip next week, as usual. I just want to ask you, though, right, so I'm determined to talk about food tonight because, and the reason is, I'm just going to be completely honest, what's in the news is Gaza, what's in the news is Ricky Hatton, what's in the news is the Prince of Wales talking about suicide, all of which are really important topics. My uncle was a boxer, so, you know, obviously got a lot of time for Ricky Hatton, but they are slightly depressing topics, and it is a Friday night. So I want to ask you, Asher, would you eat lab meats? That is to say, this meat that is produced in a lab that's, in the end, they reckon, is going to taste exactly the same as what might be...
Well, then I'll have it, stick it in a pan, put the old herbs, spices, marinate it, slap it on the plate, I'll eat it.
Because my own view is, if you get to a stage where it's better... and cheaper to grow meat in a lab rather than get it from an animal.
In a lab, we can genetically engineer trees to do it.
Do you reckon?
Of course we can. We can do anything with genes now. You put a few beef genes in a tomato, you'll get beef tomatoes.
No, you will not.
Yeah.
No, you will not.
Well, you can. I mean, they know how to splice DNA together.
Sorry, beef tomato hasn't got anything to do with
Well, no, not the traditional beef tomato, but, you know, that'd be a trademark thing. But you can, you know, you can grow anything with anything. These days, you can do anything.
Absolutely. Bombay duck, which is
it's
fish.
A fish. So they make a duck out of a fish.
No,
so they can do that. They can do tomato into... No, but you can just grow them on trees now.
Asher, what do you eat at home? What's your favourite food?
I like Italian cuisine. You know, a lot of pasta dishes, a lot of lasagnas, pickled onion, Monster Munch, macaroni, cheese. I like Indian food. I like Thai, Chinese, kosher food, you know, Ashkenazi and Sephardi.
I'll tell you what...
Schnitzel, katsu curry.
I'll tell you what I used to get angry about when I was a kid, and those of you that grew up in the 80s and 90s will understand this. Very rarely did your mum get a variety pack of Monster Munch. Right,
your friends, no good, is
your friends would come round and go, "Oh, I've got a variety pack of Monster Munch. What flavour do you want? Pickled onion."
You don't beef and tomato.
No.
Pickled onion. I'll have all the pickled onion. Don't you worry about that.
No. I used to say this to my friends. Lovely. No, I'm sorry. There are two flavours. There are two of each flavour in these multi-packs. You're not having the pickled onion. You can have the cheese one, that nobody wants. Right, it's just not. You're not having the pickled onion. It's not having the pickled onion. It's not acceptable.
Haven't they gone smaller as well than they used to be?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's go to Phil. Phil's in Worthing. All right, Phil.
Pickled onion, unacceptable.
All right, Ash. How are you, mate?
All right, yeah. What's up, man?
All right, Andre. How you doing, lads?
All
right, man.
I thought I'd just come on with a complete tangent. You were talking earlier, surprise. You were talking earlier about people blacking their faces and also people dressing as women. I think Andre was saying.
Are you on a hand-free system?
Yeah, Phil, we're struggling a little bit. Phil, I'll tell you what, we'll put you back to the gallery to sort you out, and then we'll go to Paula. But we will talk to you. Don't worry. Paula in Halifax.
Hi, guys.
Right.
How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah. What's up, Paula?
No, I was watching that clip of James, and gosh, you've changed, Ash.
Well, I lost. Yeah, when I go up smoking, I put on weight so fast it was like a stone a month. I actually lost my balance.
Oh, give over, you.
I did, and then luckily I got on the nicotine vapes. I've lost 3 stone, and got a bit more.
But
I look like Giant Haystacks. Do you remember Giant Haystacks? From World of Sport, Dickie Davis.
I think
he was like the baddie. There was Big Daddy.
So let's be clear. If you well, hang on a second. If that was you, 3 stone.
More than
you've just won the bingo, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, but if that was you 3 stone bigger, you must have put a lot on your face because 3 stones.
Everywhere it went on, apart from the places that matter.
Yes, Ash, you look fit out now.
Well, I've still got a few. Still got a few pound. Anyway, what did you phone in about?
Your sexy body.
Well, I was actually ringing about. I wanted to pick Andre's brain, to be honest. But I also wanted to say it was really nice to see the James Wales clip.
Yeah, man, it was lovely, wasn't it? Yeah.
By the way, that Dylan, whatever his name was, looked ill.
He did look.
He needs a steak. That
lad. He's a slab of meat.
He really does. He really does.
Who does?
That Dylan bloke.
Dylan bloke, very pasty face and puny like.
I said. Jay is.
Yeah, well, no.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, but we're allowed to comment on other bits of the video as well, you know.
The vegan guy,
right.
yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I see what you're saying, Andre.
Yeah.
Right, like Andre, I want to pick your brain.
Okay.
There's loads of crap going round, and my mum's sending it to me. She's 76 years old.
Happy birthday.
She's bright as a button, apart from a brain tumour. Now, she's seeing stuff on the internet that the government are paying like £400, gas, electricity, all this banana stuff. And I said, Mum, you've been conned.
What banana stuff?
No, I'm talking to Andre.
Okay, Paula, let me tell you something. There is an effect. There is an effect of people in early stages of things like Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm not saying that your mum's got that, but people in the early stages.
No, but I have.
No, sure, but what will happen is at the beginning of it, there is an effect that's widely known where you become quite gullible, and what can tend to happen is you get put on an idiots list. Now, what I will tell you what happened to me. Funnily enough, it happened to my dad, but my dad caught it and I didn't. Here's what happened. I got a message.
The idiot list.
Yeah, that's right. Of people that they can exploit. So if you give money to one of them, they'll invade you with more calls and whatever, which may be what your mum's doing. I'm not insulting your mum, by the way. I'm just saying this is the way that these people behave. Here's how I got onto the idiots list. Right. So what I did was I got a message on my email from PayPal saying, hello, Mr. Raj Patel or whatever it was, it has attempted to take £750 from you. Don't worry, we've stopped it because we believe it's fraud. Please do have a look at your account and check it's okay. So I thought, I'm not clicking the link because don't do that. I'm not. So I went to www.paypal.com and logged in, right, which must be safe. And then it had this message. Someone indeed had tried to request £750 from me. It had indeed not been taken. It had indeed not been taken out of my account. So I opened up my messages and it said, this is PayPal security. Just to confirm, phone this number to get through to us. And I phoned up and said, this is PayPal security, the anti-fraud department, blah, 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 blah. And can I tell you what they'd done? That message was not from PayPal. It was from the fraudster. They'd sent a request for £750 that they knew wouldn't go through. And then they'd sent a second message. And now I was on the phone to the scammers and I was giving them information about my bank account, about my Amazon account and all this. In the end, I hung up. I was shaking because I realised I'd been done. They didn't get any money. But now I get loads and loads and loads of those.
You're on the idiot list.
I'm on the idiot list.
So you've got to look out for your mother on that, Paula.
Now, here's the problem that your mother may have. If she has sent even £1 to any of these people, that will have turbocharged the problem. And
she did last week.
Right.
She said...
Well, she goes higher up on the idiot list.
Something really stupid, Paula. I said, what do you mean, Mum? She went, well, I got this email and I got this thing and they had my number and...
It's not her fault, but that's just what they're looking for.
Well, can I give you some practical? Can I give you 3 practical suggestions? Yeah. Number 1, if you know your mother's vulnerable, she can sign from the... let me go through all of them because this may affect some people. You can sign at the post office to have your post redirected to a friend or a carer or a relative so they can look and manage your post for you. And if
ringing her and emailing
I understand that, but let me go through all of them. You can contact the Telephone Preference Service, the TPS, who will take your phone number off all of the marketing so you won't get any phone numbers. In terms of emails, there are multiple things you can do. You can have a shared inbox with you and a carer or a friend or a lawyer or whatever. That's possible to do. But also, get her onto a good system like Gmail that has a good spam filter. And I don't know if you know what spam is, but spam is all of these emails that come in that are rubbish. So if you look at...
She thinks it's that meat in a tin, don't you?
Junk mail, isn't it? Your junk mail.
I bet you have spam,
so if I open up my... If you look at... I mean, you won't be able to see my email from here, but you can see I've ordered a couple of things from Amazon. But if I now press here and go to spam, you will see there are just hundreds, thousands of emails with hey, you know, fill my this and buy my that and send money to whatever. Final notice to send money. You have been awarded prizes. There's loads and loads and loads of it.
Spam. Yeah. But I've seen them myself, Andre.
There you go. Yeah. Your payment has been declined. Send X amount of money.
Yeah, send money.
Yeah, quite a lot from Donald Trump, it has to be said. But I think those are the three things to do. And what you may find is you may find that it's worth going on, say, the TPS, even though these things are coming by email, simply because they may move on to the phones. But the big thing is. And this is the problem that you will have with people. Because people have been intelligent all their lives, when they start to feel gullible, they will tend to hide it simply because they're intelligent enough to know their family won't believe them. But because they're the early stage of their illness, they're gullible enough to send the money anyway. And so people can get into a real mess as a result of that. Is any of that helpful?
Yes, it was really helpful.
Which bit was helpful?
Ash, why are you eating grapes?
I was having a visual effect for, some people watching.
Don't you mean because you were bored?
No, I was doing it to add a bit of visual, because I wasn't really doing anything, so I thought I'd better add something. So I had a great, like a Roman would.
How much, Paula? Can I just ask you, how much money has your mum sent, and what was the scam she fell for?
I think it was $5,000.
Oh, so it's a pretty serious case then.
What, they got $5,000 off her?
And I mean, have you gone to the police?
They didn't get £5,000. She sent £1. Well, that's all right, but don't do it anymore. Tell her not to do anything like that without.
No, she had to ring the bank because she knew immediately what she'd done.
But maybe you should ring the bank and say, look, you've got an old mother who's getting scammed, so please keep an extra eye on any strange movements in her bank account.
The big problem you all have is, you said that you've got early stage dementia as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. Yeah.
See, the only problem is you can get something called power of attorney, which is you act on behalf of your mother. Yeah. But I'm not being rude, Paula, but as somebody who's suffering from a degenerative...
It'd have to be my sister.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you're suffering...
Do you trust her, your sister?
Oh, absolutely impeccably.
Okay. Yeah, I think the thing is, if you've got a degenerative condition, then you being power of attorney would probably raise more problems than it would resolve.
But there's two power of attorneys. There's the health power of attorney and there's the financial power of attorney, so you need to get both sorted.
But one thing I just want to say to everybody, look, if you're going to do something like power of attorney, you've got to get legal advice on it. The reason is, when I worked at the House of Commons, I met people who had given power of attorney to what they thought were quite trusted friends, even relatives. Remember, that person can empty your bank account, and it is entirely legal to do that. For obvious reasons, because they act on your behalf.
Thanks, Andre.
No problem. Great.
Another satisfied customer.
OK, let's go to Ben in Manchester. Ben, you're on talk.
That was better than Martin Lewis.
I'm not a communist.
Ben.
Hello?
Ben.
Hello.
Ben.
Andre, Ash.
Yeah, man.
I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing.
What are we doing?
You're doing. Standing up for British, for the British heritage.
Yeah, someone's got to.
I love it. And it's not about colour, you're right. It's not about colour.
It's nothing to do with colour. We don't care.
Nothing.
We don't want any migrants. Doesn't matter what race they are, white, black, whatever. So that proves it's not racist.
Yeah, and Ash, the way you ate those grapes before, fucking fantastic.
Thanks, man. Yeah, nice one, man.
Brilliant.
All right, let's not swear too much.
No, but he was very excited by my grape eating. Right, let's go to Grace in London. Great.
I was up for...
Oh, Ben, all right, yeah, Ben.
Come on, Ben.
Don't say any more F-bombs.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Whereabouts in Manchester are you from? Are you allowed to tell us?
I'm from Fallowfields.
Oh, okay.
I used to live in Fallowfield.
Yes.
I will tell you.
The amount of brown people now. No.
Well, that's not in Fallowfield. It's actually, you can't be against just because that is racist, isn't it? It doesn't matter what colour they are. If they're British cultural.
I thought you were saying you had no problem with them.
Oh, I see. Right.
It's just that there's a lot of them, isn't there? And,
obviously, rush home up the road is.
Well, I'll tell you what. When it's late at night, you do rush home, don't you?
Yeah, I once rushed home from rush home, chased by these smackers. But yeah, Wilms, where in Fallowfield you live? I know the area. I don't want your full address, like.
I don't want to get dark.
Are you near Platt Fields? You know, they played the FA Cup final there.
Yeah.
Platt Fields, yeah.
I'm near there.
Yeah, just give us the postcode.
It's basically a student area where you are, isn't it?
Yeah. Loads of students, lots of international students. They do my head in.
Yeah,
They
I know
do
what
my
you
head
mean.
in.
Well, that's like the Steve Coogan character, was it? Paul Calf. The students, he was like a Manchester character. So, did you go to Abdul's to get a kebab?
Anyway, stop. All right.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I went to get my normal weekly Indian yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The amount of people wearing burqas in there, insane.
Yeah. The number of people in a burqa in an Indian restaurant, shocking.
It's shocking.
Why? What makes you feel uncomfortable?
We need to get rid of them all.
Well,
we need to get rid of them all.
I mean, it's a bit excessive.
What?
I mean, just the burqas, you mean, get rid of?
No, I mean all of them. Isn't that what we're all standing up?
No, I mean, we're not saying deport anyone.
I'm going to tell you, there's not many people who live in Fallowfield with views like that. I think we might have had a bit of a prank call there.
Yeah, exactly,
but anyway, I will tell you one thing: if he is genuine and he is concerned about the number of international students in Fallowfield, then I would suggest he's going to have problems.
And they're from everywhere in Fallowfield, aren't they?
Absolutely right. All right, Grace is in London. Grace, you're on Talk.
Hi. I wanted to talk about the topic you were discussing briefly yesterday about Lenny Henry.
Yes.
If that's okay. Because
reparations for slavery, £19 trillion he wants us to stump up.
You can't repair history.
Yes.
It'd be great if you could, but you can't. The abominable, indescribable suffering that enslaved people went through, it's just horrific. People being branded, women being raped, just the horror of it all. For Lenny Henry to suggest that their suffering means he should get money seems to me
multi-millionaire Lenny Henry.
I've got to be honest with you. We've said this before on the show, but what about Lewis Hamilton? He's talking about people benefiting from slavery whilst working at Mercedes. There are very few companies that still exist in Europe that directly benefited from slavery. But IG Farben, Mercedes, Volkswagen, BMW, these big German companies that were either founded or expanded by the Third Reich benefited hugely from Polish and Jewish slavery and indeed
they did pay reparations, but that was to the actual people that they enslaved. So that was actually not eight generations away. But also, we were slaves to North African, took millions of people from this country in the 1700s and a bit in the 1800s. And slavery is at its most. There's more slaves now than there's ever been in history. So we should be talking about the slaves now.
Exactly. We weren't enslaved by... because we weren't alive then, and Lenny Henry was not alive when slavery was going on. So you can't have it both ways. Yeah. But you're right. We should be talking about slavery going on right now.
That's the important thing.
Including in some regions of Africa, such as where people are getting some of the minerals that we use in our devices. We should be talking about some of the mess that was left behind.
The slave market's still going on all over the world. Actual markets where you buy slaves.
There are some people in certain formerly colonised countries who are really suffering right now. We should be helping them. We shouldn't be giving money to people like Lenny Henry on the basis of their ancestry. And you talked about yesterday about original sin, and I do think that there is a kind of religious element to this, in that I think part of the reason there's such a differentiation in views is that some people feel spiritually connected to their ancestors in a way that we don't.
Okay.
I think they feel like they're aggrieved because of what happened to their ancestors, whereas I don't feel like that. When I heard that my grandmother had been sexually assaulted as a child, I didn't think I'm a victim because of what she went through.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the reason that Lenny Henry might feel like he's a victim. But I think actually...
But he doesn't even know who is... I mean, you know your great-grandparent, but you don't know who your eight generations back even was, and you won't know your 8 generations forward is.
But what it's really about, Grace, as far as I'm concerned, is saying Britain, the British culture... British belief in democracy, British belief in rule of law, British belief in global free trade, none of that made Britain successful. The Danelaw did not make Britain successful. The Magna Carta didn't make Britain successful. Representative democracy did not make Britain successful. Capitalism did not make Britain successful. The only thing that made Britain successful is slavery. And Lenny Henry's central point, or rather the central point of the political left is, look, the reason why there is an appearance that capitalism makes the world better is not because it does, but because slavery has brought in so much money for these colonial empires that it makes it look like their system works. But actually, if you really want to be rich, socialism is a better way. Because you can't look at Ceausescu's Romania and say to yourself, oh, wow, isn't that a paragon of wealth? You can't say
And we
that.
never had actual slavery within this country because it was illegal. We had, you know, industry. That's how we made our money.
I do think it's the case that some of our nation's wealth is the result of extraction from elsewhere, but that's not just about history, and you can't fix
But
history.
we also cost
Right
billions
now-
fighting slavery when we changed our mind. That cost us millions. Our GDP went down significantly. Anyway, look, Grace, we're going to come back to you, but we've got to pay a few bills. So 0344 499 1000. It's all about your calls now. It's Andre Nash on Talk, and we'll be back in just a jiffy.
Yes, this is Talk. This is a late show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. Grace, you were saying?
Yes, I was saying, I think that some of our country's wealth has come from taking from elsewhere, but we need to talk about people who are suffering right now. We can't pretend that we can fix history. And as you were saying, it's as though people think that sin is something one inherits dependent on one's ancestry, whereas that's really contrary to the worldview that we have in the West. As a Christian, I believe that, you know, we have sinned and we have the offer of salvation through Jesus, but we're not sinful because of being white or another colour. You know, our sin is what we ourselves have done wrong. I mean, it should be pointed out to people who haven't looked into theology much that the concept of original sin is quite complicated theologically. It's not. You said that we're all born evil, and some theologians would not necessarily interpret the Bible that way. I'm not saying one way or the other because it's quite complicated theologically.
Sure.
But it is agreed by Christians that we have each sinned and we're offered forgiveness, but we're not sinful.
But when you say that one of the central messages of the Bible is that we should be concerned about sinning versus non-sinning, or repentance, sinning versus repentance, not black versus white. Yeah. We are a country now where race is the most important political issue, I would suggest to you. It's now become all about that. When I was a kid...
And that's caused racism. When we're in the 90s, no one cared what... We sorted ourselves out, hadn't we? Everyone was cool.
One of the things that really bothers me about what Lenny Henry has been saying is that racism is the result of the slave trade. That's nonsense. Human beings across the world throughout history have been racist, unfortunately.
But isn't there also when you talk about the nature of racism? So isn't it natural that I will treat Asher better than I treat you? Right. So if, as an example, if as an example, I had £1 in my pocket and Asher needed
it to me.
Asher needed it and you needed it, I'd be more likely to give it to Asher.
I would give 50 because I'm like King Solomon. I'd give 50 pence.
Now, if my older brother were to come in, then I would give the £1 to him before I gave it to Asher. And I think sometimes when we're talking about racism,
like that, is it?
we forget that this is much more about. I mean, I think there is just straight-out racism, but I think it's much more about, first of all, defending your family, then defending your community, then defending your tribe, then defending your country, or whatever it is.
It's a natural thing of we're animals like that.
Well, yeah, like animals, we can instinctively have a preference for people who are more similar to ourselves. As a Christian, actually, I want to overcome that instinct and not have a preference based on nationality or ethnicity. We do have responsibility to our immediate family.
Yeah, but if you look at love thy neighbour as thyself, just think about this for a minute. In addition to loving your neighbour as much as you love yourself, you also have a bigger responsibility to your family than you do to to people who live next door.
But the whole point of love your neighbour as yourself is that you shouldn't do that.
No, I don't think so. I think it's clear. If you look at the period in the wilderness when the Israelites left Egypt, you took the manna from heaven, but what you did was you first of all looked after the people in your tent, which were your family.
But love your neighbour as yourself means everyone should be equal. Isn't that true? I don't know what the Bible isn't.
Yeah. So you do have a responsibility to your immediate family, but beyond your immediate family, we should consider people of different
nationalities. So don't love your neighbour as yourself. Love your neighbour just a bit less than your family, is what it says.
Your neighbour isn't actually the person who lives next door. When Jesus refers to your neighbour, he's actually referring to someone from a different background. If I have wealth to distribute to people, and I don't have much, because I'm desperately trying to get into work, so I don't have much, but when I give money, I'm really keen to give to people who are in other parts of the world because it can make more impact.
Well, let's see if you're right. We've got the referee on here. It's Ken in London. Ken, is she right with the scriptures and what they say here?
Yeah, Grace always gets some good points of view.
You're still there, Grace, by the way, to argue with Ken. Away you go.
No. We're not going to argue, but I phoned in to phone about the Taqicha as an Islamic doctrine, but I would like to say this, the greatest and most dangerous slavery on earth is mankind's slavery to sin and demonic powers. That's the greatest.
Is that right? I have to say, can I just throw this at Ken again? I mean, this also, I think another thing that enslaves people is money. And quite often rich people are the biggest slaves to money of them all. Because if a Lamborghini made you genuinely happy, why does everyone I know with a Lamborghini want a second Lamborghini? Whereas actually, if you have...
To be happier.
If you have a family, the number of people that want a second... And very few people get married and have 3 kids and go, the number one thing I'd like to do now is get a better wife and 3 better children. Nobody does that. Whereas, of course, if somebody buys a Lamborghini or a holiday home, they immediately want a bigger and better one.
They might want a better wife.
I think that is a function of the fact that true happiness is not found through that, Ken.
Yeah, but I would just like to mention this, if you don't mind, carrying on with Grace's points of view there, which are very feasible and true. Jesus' mission came in this earth was to die for the sin of the world. He came to set the captives free. That was his mission for every soul in history. Jesus came to set us free from addiction to sin, to lying.
He's not going to have done a very good job, has he?
You name it. He came to give us a new heart. You have to be born again and given a new heart. That is why Jesus came. And that's right from the book of Acts. Just before the book of Acts, Jesus said, you must be born again. So it's not a new doctrine. This is from Jesus, Andre. You need to consider this, Andre. The world right now, we are turning away so fast from God. The devil is taking over our nation.
But do you believe, Ken? Do you believe? Because I believe there is a form of devilishness, if you like, that has taken control of Lenny Henry. Because Lenny Henry, having previously been somebody who wanted to go out to make people happy, now wants to divide us based on the colour of our skin and charge an additional tax to white people on the grounds of something that people they'd never met did something to people he'd never met.
Is Lenny Henry the Antichrist, Ken?
Of course he's not. But listen, one of the greatest sins is racism. Do you know what drives racism? The sin of pride. And the Bible says, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace to the humble. If anybody wants to get to heaven...
Yeah, guys, can I just say something to both Grace and Ken? We are going to go to a break. Do not hang up.
Why not? Why shouldn't they hang up?
Well, because the producer said do not hang up. We like these two.
Maybe they should. Maybe they should.
Well, you go to the...
We'll go to the break and see if they're still there in 2 minutes.
Okay, right. I didn't know about this. This is the Andre Walker bingo, which the staff play. Right, okay. So what the aim of the game is that when I say one of these things, you have to tick it off. Apparently it goes through every week. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to start tweeting. Do you know what we should do? We should get back the Woke Wabbit account from That Was the Woke That Was, and he should tweet it out every week. But we'll organise that next week. Anyway, so today, and I'm going to ruin the game slightly, but it's refuge. If I say refugees,
you can't up the ready.
Hang on a second is one. If I tell a story of any description, if I mention free speech gout, or this is my favourite one, where it says, I've got a mate, it's just his mate Vasily, every time. All right, fair enough.
You should have Gruel should be on there.
Gruel. Yeah. Mention of J.K. Rowling. I never talk about...
No, never talks
okay.
about that.
Correct. Okay. And looking at the phone, yeah, okay. So... I think that what we should do is we should play this bingo game every single... Should we have it in conjunction with the Sun? The Andre Walker Sun Bingo. You get two scratch cards.
I think they'll be up for that.
They'll be up for it. The Andre Walker Sun Bingo. Anyway, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to start next week. If you follow the Woke Wabbit, we'll get the account going again. We can't do it right now, but we'll get it going again, and then you can follow along with the Andre Walker Bingo. And the prize will be... a night of love with me.
Anyway, back to our religious debate. Here's Ken and Grace. Please continue with your religious debate on this Friday night.
We're not talking about religious debate, Ash. We're talking about the reality. We have a creator. We have a God in heaven who sent his son Jesus.
Ken, sorry, I just want to ask you. Ken, we've got loads of time. I just want to ask you. Tomorrow, unbelievably, that the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine action people are out again. Will you be on that? Well, sorry. Will you be attending that?
I will be out there with the banner, Jesus Christ died for our sins, repent.
That's the one you're going to be wearing tomorrow.
That's what I'll be wearing most days.
Why?
That's the good news. That's the good news.
That's the good news.
I'll tell you why it's good news. Because the Bible declares the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, and who can know it? We are so wicked we don't understand the depth.
Do you have the
of our
bad news
sin.
on the backboard?
That's the bad news. But the good news is this, Ash.
Yeah.
The wages of sin is death, but the good news, God offers us eternal life.
Oh, well, that is good news.
Christ.
That is good news.
This is good news for everybody. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Grace and I, we are saved by the wonderful blood of Jesus. He loves us.
Can you and Grace now duet do a song? Away
Don't
you
go
go.
breaking my heart.
Away you go. What song?
I'm not brave enough to sing out loud, I'm afraid. I wish I was.
But you might get the spirit. Come on, Ken. You start off, Ken, and see if we can get Grace going.
Okay, I'll sing it. I'll sing a wonderful song.
We'll all join in.
Oh, give me joy in my
heart. Give me praise.
Now I shall sing it.
I pray. Give me joy in my heart. Keep me praising. Keep me praising till the end of the day. See, I only know the No Surrender one. What's the other one?
don't sing that.
Ash, you don't mock Jesus,
Sorry.
Ash.
I wasn't
Why are you
mocking
mocking
Jesus.
Jesus?
I
We're
never
singing
mocked
about
Jesus.
Jesus. Ash, you should learn to stop mocking
I look a bit
Jesus.
like Jesus.
We don't mock you because
he was my
you're a
brother,
Christian.
Jesus. He was my Jewish brother.
We don't mock you. We
know
don't mock
how
you.
long
We love
Jesus'
you.
hair
I'm
was.
related to Jesus.
Let me sing this wee song. Listen to the words of this song. This is my experience in life when I came to know Jesus as my Lord and
Away you
Savior.
go.
When I repented. Oh, give me joy in my heart. Keep me singing. Give me joy in my heart, I pray. Give me joy in my heart. Keep me singing. Keep me singing till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King.
Yay! I know the other lyrics.
I feel all uplifted.
I know the other lyrics.
God bless you.
Next
God
song.
bless
No.
you, Grace.
Thanks,
God bless
Grace. There's Ken. Anything else, Grace?
Oh,
away you go with your song, please, Grace. Here you go.
I'm really not brave enough to sing. I whistle sometimes, but
on,
I think I can.
My favourite hymn is Bread of Heaven, Bread of Heaven, oh, to see forevermore,
all
evermore.
bright and beautiful.
In school anymore, because when I was in primary school, we used to actually sing some of these songs, and I think I was one of the last generations that did. And by the time I was leaving primary school,
But there's other. But Bread of Heaven has two sets of lyrics, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yeah, bread of heaven,
What's the other
bread of heaven.
I'm not sure.
To go evermore, evermore. Praise his name forevermore. If you're interested in football, there's another set of lyrics though.
I think
Oh,
Ken's
yeah, I know that
right about pride,
Can
and
you
I
sing
think
that for us?
I think that one of the things motivating the protests that we might see tomorrow, and maybe motivating some people like Lenny Henry, is the idea of wanting to feel a sense of pride in oneself and hating people who are on the other side of the political spectrum.
Yes.
Whereas what we need to do as human beings is to consider our own sin as much as people don't necessarily want to. If I'm just thinking I hate those people on the other side of the political spectrum and those people over there are really evil, then I might forget that I myself have sinned, and I genuinely, and I'm saying this myself personally, I really need Jesus' forgiveness and I really need his help in overcoming sin. And if I'm just feeling angry with people who have a different political ideology, then I'm going to forget.
Yeah, well, without being funny, I mean, I've seen people in my life multiple times. There's that old saying, a bad workman always blames his tools. I mean, I've seen loads of times people who clearly are the problem themselves blame everybody else for their mistakes. I've seen that loads of times.
I mean, but all of us, in one way or another,
will do that
to varying extents, have sinned, but we're all offered forgiveness through Jesus. And I know it sounds completely nuts to a lot of people, and a lot of people think that people who believe in God are probably completely mad. But there are rational arguments for concluding that God exists and that Jesus rose, and they don't necessarily get enough attention. I didn't just believe it just because of my parents. I liked my parents taking me to church because it was a nice, happy environment. But I didn't believe until I looked into the reasoning for myself, and I'd encourage people who haven't done to look at the reasoning for themselves and see what they consider to be true.
Thank you. Well, I will tell you one thing. I went for a Vindaloo the other day.
I thought so.
And what I did to the toilet was a sin that I had to repent for.
It's a sin.
Anyway, I felt I had to repent afterwards.
And on that bombshell, we'll take a little 2-minute break, and it's talk. It's Andre and Ash at virtual Ash at Andre JP Walker. Follow us, and we'll mention your names, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk. This is the Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. And do you know what? I want people to phone in with their favourite recipes, but nobody gives a toss.
No one gives a toss.
No one's
about
interested.
that. No.
0344 499 1000. If you can make a McDonald's, if you can make a KFC,
We don't give a
you can
toss.
make a Nando's, I'm well up for it. Because I'm sorry, have you noticed that McDonald's now, it's like £1.50 for a hamburger, where it used to be 80p?
Yeah, it's a gourmet product now.
Yeah, it's a rip-off.
And where's Hamburglar? Liam in Accrington.
Setting the prices.
Liam.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
What's up, man?
I just want to ask a question about this digital ID that Starmer's come up with.
Yes.
Well, Tony Blair's come up with it.
Here's the question, why is it so crap?
Yeah, there is that, Andre. But also, will it be sort of like involved with our bank accounts?
Yeah, it will eventually go to that, and it will be the curtailment of our freedom. This is basically social engineering. It's a social credit system that is being imported from China. China are also setting up basically an army base in the central London. The MI5 head, MI6 head, the FBI is saying they shouldn't.
Absolutely.
But our government, for some reason, are well up for it. There's also been a massive cover-up that's resulted in a collapse of a trial because the government basically stopped things, China being shown to be an enemy. And again, people are saying Starmer lied. MI5 people, MI6, they're former head of the civil service. So, yeah, this is what's going on, Liam. So we do not want this digital ID system that will be from Tony Blair's, the Tony Blair Foundation, and the guy, the multi-millionaire, billionaire, one of the richest men in the world. I think he's the second richest now, and they want to put digital ID. They want to have it all over the world. Every citizen, your health, your money, everything, and then AI will monitor us all. That's why they want it all on one card, because they're going to get AI to monitor everyone.
I thought the best conspiracy...
Orwellian.
I thought the best conspiracy theory that I heard, based in no fact whatsoever, but I thought it was a really interesting theory about what might happen. They said if Ed Miliband gets his way, you will have your carbon budget for the month.
And meat, you can't have meat. You've got to have an insect burger
so
this week.
What will happen is you'll have your card. You'll go into the shop and they'll say, right, how much carbon have you got this week? Boom, and they'll go, well, oh, I'm sorry, you can't have any meat. You'll just have to have vegetables because you went on holiday to Benidorm last month.
Meanwhile, they're carving a road through the rainforest to all go for their meeting. All these hypocrites, these elites that want us to eat insect burgers while they eat fine steaks wherever they go. They could all meet on Zoom. But I mean, it's basically our freedom, and if this comes in, our freedom is really in peril.
Gone. Yeah, it's totally gone.
Yeah.
And the thing I've heard as well, they're on about these microchips that they're going to put in people.
I mean, they won't even need to.
What
but
the hell?
That wouldn't surprise me, because they'll come up with some. They'll say it's for the children and this and that. They always come up with everything is for the children. They're saying this is for immigration. I mean, immigrants will not take. They get jobs without ID anyway. Why are they going to have a digital ID? And that suggests that everything will be centred on bank accounts, and then there will be full control, and we'll be basically in a virtual prison. And it's just not the British way.
Yeah. Well, Britain is finished, to be honest.
Well, it will be if that happens.
Yeah. Also, another thing, Andre.
Yes.
You were asking after a recipe.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, yeah, recipe.
Yeah, pasta with tomato and garlic sauce.
With what?
Pasta bake, wonderful.
Mollusks, with mollusks.
No,
tomatoes.
Tomato and garlic sauce.
Well, that's not really very innovative. That's the most basic.
Garlic and tomatoes.
Isn't that just dolmio? Yeah, ragu.
Come on.
Come on, something better.
No,
than
I think that's good. I think that's good.
Sorry.
A bit of tomato, a bit of garlic.
In Accrington, that's like the later gourmet.
Can I tell you what you can do if you want to make it really nice? If you get a little bit, if you get a can of tomatoes chopped, if you get some salt, pepper, some red wine vinegar, and then you put in basil, oregano, fresh, with a little bit of Parmesan, and did I say garlic?
But I like the
boil it up, reduce it down. That's lovely.
I like the old British dishes.
Yeah.
We should bring back the old British dishes, isn't it?
Toad in the hole.
Toad in the hole, beans on toast.
My older brother used to complain about my mum's cooking, which was excellent, by the way. And he said, from now on, I'm having beans on toast for my Sunday roast. And that's what he did He was a nutter when he was a kid.
Not wrong with beans on toast.
Right, Liam, let's keep hold of Liam.
Yeah, keep Liam for more recipes.
And David, we are coming to you in Worcester in a little bit, but actually I think you should give out the phone number.
Well, Lowry, Ady, Dave, John, Paul, Ashley, Yasmin the Witch and Michelle are also going to be joining us. But you can too, 0344499 or 1000. Give us a ring. It's Talk. It's Andre and Ashton. It's whatever you want to talk about. It's our last hour, and it's all about your calls. And don't forget, tomorrow morning from 10 is What Just Happened with me and Kevin O'Sullivan.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello, this is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. Hey, this is brilliant. Ernie's just said, hi, Russia have blocked anyone of fighting age from leaving the country by using the digital ID so they can feed them into the meat grinder on the Ukrainian front, and they're bringing it in here. OK, wow. OK, but let's go back to...
He's gone. Let's go to Mark in London. Dave, actually, go to David in Worcester. He was
Dave in Worcester.
Dave.
Come on, Dave.
I'm actually like you, guy. I'm from Manchester.
Oh, tenor. Right, Largo, mate, yeah. Mad for it, mad for it.
What Ben was saying before Grace and the other Bible person is there's nothing wrong with Russia market. It's fucking beautiful food. You can't beat it. You can keep burgers all they want. It's cheap, it's cheerful.
Thank you, David. Let's go.
I didn't get that.
What did you say? Just repeat that, Dave.
I was in Russia myself.
I used to go to Abdul's, you know, the kebab shop, Abdul's.
Yeah, on the corner.
There's a few of them. There's about 5.
The supermarket.
Yeah, I love Abdul's.
I like the. Do you remember the Monsoon kebab shop next to
in Rusholme?
No, next to Oxford Road Station.
No,
got demolished.
No, you're too far out of town.
Yeah, too far out of town.
I was in Rusholme near the McDonald's Children's Hospital. There's a bail hostel for police.
McDonald's. The McDonald's bail hostel. They're branching out.
No, it's a.
That'll be where Hamburglar is. Is that it?
So, I'll tell you what. I remember. I was in the Ashoka Indian takeaway. The Ashoka Indian restaurant.
Well, it was called Shocker.
It was called Ashoka.
Going for a Shocker.
And that was on. Like it might be Whitworth Street or something like that, I can't remember. But anyway, there was this.
You want to go to Rush Hour?
There was this bloke who always used to get languid. His name was George Stasi. He was a teacher, and he got his tikka, his chicken tikka. And he went, he used to talk like this. He went, it's too salty, too salty. And the bloke would go, right, okay. He took it away, and I heard him go, stick it in the microwave. It went, bing. He put it back on his table. My mate picked up and went, perfect. But the worst thing that
made perfect.
The worst thing that Stasi ever did was he always used to, when he got drunk, he always used to claim that things were too salty. And he was in the Lal Keela, right, in Rusholme. And he was sat there, he ordered his food, and he was going, it's too salty, I can't eat it. And they're going, right, I'm sorry, we can't make you another meal because the kitchen's closed. And he said, I'll wait. So he waited there till 4 in the morning, right? And in the end, he said, look, we're going to have to take your plate. So he poured his food onto the table, then gathered up the tablecloth, slung it over his shoulder, and he went, I've got a friend in forensic science who'll prove this is dangerous. And he marched out to the Lal Keela restaurant and then took it home with him. Mind you, no, actually,
Did he give it to his mate at the forensics?
I can't. No, of course he didn't. He didn't have a mate at forensics.
Honestly, I'll tell you what, mate. I swear to my grandma's ashes. I went to a chippy in Worcester the other day. It's expensive here anyway. Anyway, this guy has gone for the fish and chips and mushy peas. Yeah. It's £4.70, right, for a small old man's meal.
That's not
so
bad.
So they said, so they said, you're too late. He said, well, I'll pay it. He said, yeah, but you missed the old folks' deal. He went, fuck it, He said, I'll pick you up tomorrow. So he paid. He said he refused to pay the full amount. He said, I'm not paying you the same fish.
And that's Dave. Any more? What else happened?
Well,
next story.
What I was going to say about you
Can I tell you the worst story I've ever heard? Right, one of my mates, he was in Conservative Party conference in Blackpool, right?
Oh, I love Blackpool.
Yeah, I love Blackpool.
Right. So he's in the Imperial Bar and he's going, I can't get to the toilet. It's too busy. So they went, look, just try and get to the toilet. He goes, oh no, it's too busy. I'm going to have to go in my pants. right?
Yeah, just got the
and they went, you can't pee in your pants, and then he went, right?
Brown poo.
So he had a poo in his pants in the Conservative Party conference bar, right? So anyway. He was.
Are you talking about yourself?
He was removed.
He's talking about himself.
He was removed from the venue, and there was this woman. She used to talk like that. Right? There was this woman. She used to talk like that. And can I tell you, she was as wide as she was tall. So he took her back to his hotel, which was called the Strachan, which they'd called the Stricken because it had been closed for years. Right. So anyway, he gets in. Right, and he gets jiggy with her, right, and she goes, oh no, I can't touch you, not with those pooey underpants on. So he went, all right, so he took them off and stuck it next to him, and she goes, oh no, I can still smell it, it's disgusting, I'm not having that. So he went, right, I've had enough of this. So he stubbed his cigar out on her thigh, unbelievably. She went, ah! So she's burnt. He opens the door to the hotel room, throws his pants out into the corridor, shuts the door, does the business, wakes up in the morning, and he said he opened the door and the owner was trying to get the pants off a chandelier in the corridor with this broom, and he said, I just walked past going, it's disgusting what some people will do, isn't it? And he said the landlord knew full well it was me.
Pants, mate. Always carry 2 pair of pants.
He said, I knew full well that the landlord knew it was me. I knew full well.
I was just on a tip about that. Never use the kettles in a hotel room because women clean their knickers in them.
What?
Yeah, they boil their knickers in them.
I've been my boxers in one in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've boiled your boxer shorts in the kettle in a hotel.
In Edinburgh.
It's a thing people do. Never use those. Yeah, never. He does it all the time. Anyway, that's some beautiful stories there, wasn't it? Really uplifting. Right, let's go to...
Oh, no, shut up. I have used...
Yeah, well, that's why
I've used the kettle.
That's why it has that taste.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's scale. That's not scale in the bottom. Mark in London. Mark.
Morning, guys. How are you doing?
I'm traumatised.
All right, he's traumatised.
Yeah, I'm a bit traumatised myself as well. Yeah, how about the good old East London dish? Pie, mash and liquor.
Beautiful, yeah, liquor. Which is gravy, but you call it liquor. It's like it's green. What are you having? It's celery or something?
No.
What's liquor?
You want to make a good
I thought it was pea juice.
It's a parsley thing, isn't it? Parsley.
Oh, it's parsley, that's right. Yeah.
Parsley sauce.
It's parsley, yeah. It's parsley sauce, but what you do is you get about half of a fish stock.
Yeah, I don't like it with that, all that the eel stuff, all the eel, jellied eels and all that.
Well, that's how the proper liquor was made.
I know, but I like you can get you can get a different liquor, can't you, without the fish in it? And you know they have nice beef pies, and the mash is great, isn't it?
But there's no decent chippies down south, is there?
No, but this is separate. This is a pie and mash shop.
No.
It's a different thing. A pie and mash shop.
I get that.
Yeah.
Pie and mash, Andre. A pie and mash shop is not a chippy.
No, I get that.
Do pie
I
and
understand.
Mash, jellied eels.
Yeah.
But the other thing, if you're talking about north, my wife and her family, they all come from the northeast, and the thing you've got to try is a chicken parmo.
I know what the chicken parmo is.
Parmo, yeah.
A parmo man from Middlesbrough
Hey,
Lake.
man.
Why, Spuggy? Spuggy. Where's Spuggy?
Because my wife and her family are all from Stockton-on-Tees, so the chicken parmo is basically after a night out, you all have a parmo.
Is it it's basically a schnitzel with bechamel sauce on top, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, and cheese on top of that, and then melted.
A parmesan sort of cheese, yeah, parmo.
A parmo.
Is it an Italian?
It
Must be an Italian connection, like a Milanese.
The thing is, the size of it up there.
I'll tell you what, in Middlesbrough, it might be a Jewish thing, a schnitzel.
Well, it could be, yeah, it could be.
Because there's loads.
I've got family from Newcastle. My grandma Estelle. Hey, man.
Isn't the biggest Talmud college in Middlesbrough?
Gateshead. Yeshiva.
Yeah, Gateshead.
Yeah, man.
I said, why on earth? Right. I mean, there's few places that are worse than Latvia, but it's fair to say that Gateshead is one of them, and they left anyway. What are they doing?
Anything else?
The thing is, talking about food and Jewish food.
Yeah.
Chicken soup. cannot be beaten.
With Kreplach and Kanadlach, with Lokshan.
But the Jewish chicken soup is not. You don't have cream in it, do you?
Oh no, you can't have the cream.
No,
it's not.
No.
You can't have
No, you
milk
can't
with
have
meat.
it.
Milk with meat, yeah, of course.
Because you're mixing.
But a salt beef sandwich, of course, is a fantastic.
So I think Jewish chicken soup is much more similar to the Chinese stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, they call it Jewish penicillin. You know, if you've got a cold or something, you have that. But I like a salt beef sandwich as well. That's a class. Obviously, the East End Brick Lane known for its salt beef.
Somebody told me fish and chips was Jewish.
Yeah, fish and chips from Portuguese Jews, and smoked salmon was a Jewish dish.
If you come down with something, or you've got flu or anything like that, chicken soup, proper Jewish chicken soup,
yeah,
and you're white as rain within a couple of days.
But you've got to have all the accoutrements.
If that don't work, have some penicillin with it, and then that does it.
Yeah, that'll double dose, yeah. No, don't obviously overdose on penicillin.
No, I thought when you said double dose, you meant
Chicken
a dose
soup
of penicillin.
and then the penicillin.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't put it in the soup.
Don't put it in the soup.
You've got to have the balls with it as well.
Yeah, the matzo balls. Yeah. And
What is a matzo ball?
It's basically matzo meal, egg and roll it in a ball, chuck it, boil it, and that's
By the way,
dumpling. It's basically
can I
dumpling.
tell you what the worst food I've ever eaten? The worst food I've ever eaten. I mean, this was a crime. This was a war crime in of itself. Ukrainian pickled cabbage dumpling.
Oh, that sounds good.
I will tell you, I'm sorry, when I've been to Israel twice, Israeli food is bland and awful.
Well, it's the opposite.
No,
it has, because it's from all four corners of the world.
Awful.
You know, it's got the Arabian stuff, it's got the European, it's the best food, and their salads are second to none.
Jerusalem artichoke in Jerusalem.
Don't bother with the salads.
Don't bother with it.
I don't bother with
Ash,
the
what's the Jewish fish called again?
Oh, gefilte fish, yes. It wears a hat, it's got a big beard. You look out for the gefilte fish.
It stinks the ass.
I don't really eat fish. Yeah, and herring, schmaltz herring. I don't have any of that.
Is that roll mop?
I don't really know what it is. Some sort of herring. I don't know what. I don't really know about fish.
Roll mop herring is morally wrong, isn't it? But I quite like it.
I tell you what, there's something called calf's foot jelly, which is, I suppose, like a jellied eel. You know, I don't like things that have jelly in
No,
it.
I don't.
But I think it preserves jellied eels. It preserves the eels because, of course, you don't have refrigeration in
There's
the
There's a Russian dish which is chicken with jelly on top.
Yeah,
and it's like
cat food. You don't want
cat
jelly.
food,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll tell you what me and the wife see once. We see this fish soup, and it was in one of these sort of German supermarkets that's over here.
Yeah, Poland is well into the fish soup.
Yeah, but we opened it to pour it into the saucepan to cook it.
And are they swimming around in it?
They were vomiting. It was stinking, something rotten. We couldn't even eat it.
Yeah.
The smell is beyond.
But one of my favourite foods, if you ever go to the House of Parliament, have their jerk chicken. It's absolutely superb. House of Commons jerk chicken is well known. Well known.
Somehow I don't think they'd let me in there.
Just go in for the dinner.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Michelle. We got a little breaky. There's a break in then, Michelle in London. Brace yourself.
across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, this is Talk. This is the Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. Louise says, well, I don't know whether it's Louise or Lincoln. Andre, unfortunately, you are bland and awful as well.
Lincoln. It's from Lincoln. Louise in Lincoln.
Louise in Lincoln. Well,
is that because you said the food was?
She probably owns a chippy, doesn't she? Well, we used to have these. I said Israeli
food is probably the best food because there's so many different types. Of
why have I been to Israel twice and the food's been not?
You've been on with the wrong person. Obviously, you're not taking you to the right place.
It's not been bad. It's just been bland.
Where did you go? I mean, how can you get bland? It's all spicy and everything.
Well, there was no spice in anything I ate.
I don't know where you were going.
I think they must have literally, on both occasions, taken us to the worst restaurant possible.
Terrible.
Because everyone comes back from Israel going, oh, the food's amazing. I came back going, oh, it's just so boring and bland.
You went to the wrong place.
School dinner-ish.
No, it's all right.
I mean, it's not school dinner-ish because of the freshness of it. But anyway, OK, what's the store strumming challenge?
Swedish fish live 1 week. They want you to eat live fish. So... It's meant to be the worst smelling fish.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
OK, Michelle is in London. Michelle, you're on Talk.
Good evening, boys. Oh, you are both on form tonight. That man Mark made me hungry because when you're not well, Jewish soup is the best and the bread.
But why? All it is just a chicken broth,
I don't know what it is, but it does, doesn't it? It sorts you out.
Because my understanding is it's just what we would call chicken stock, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, there's something about doing it the Jewish way. It makes you better.
It does, yeah. Especially if you have the accoutrements.
You've got to have Japanese and then Greek food, and then, you're right. Boys, I have to tell you just quick something. I thought, it's a bit late. I thought I'll have a not toddy. Yeah. Oh, my God, I feel like old Mother Hubbard. I ain't got no lemons. I ain't got no cinnamon. I ain't got, and I thought, okay, I've got the whiskey with a little bit of hot water.
It was like the time my mate tried to make a paella with no fish or seafood.
Is it because you've been driven into poverty by this government?
Oh, do you know what? I do feel like old Mother Hubbard. Yeah. I was looking in and I thought,
we're all skint.
Oh my God, I'm going to do a Monica. I hope I don't go down the toilet. Got no toilet roll. Oh, right. Anyway.
What's a Monica?
My favourite thing. Do you not think your favourite thing is when you go into your kitchen and you think, I just fancy something, and you open up and you've bought, I don't know what it is, you might have bought some ice cream you've forgotten about, or you bought a packet of crisps you've forgotten about, or there's a Toblerone. Do you know those big Toblerones you can only get in airports that somebody bought you?
You know what? But it's all a surprise, isn't it? It's like, oh my God, wow.
It's like that feeling you used to get when you woke up for school and realised it was a Saturday and just went, yes.
It is good when you forget about something that you've got in the fridge, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like the old tin salmon in the tuna. You're like, oh, John West is alive. But
Do you know, my dad said that he always used to go round on Sunday to his grandfather and grandmother's. I know his granddad was called Edward Walker. I don't know what his grandmother was called. But what she used to do, it's very much after the Second World War, they used to get a tin of salmon, but in order to make it go further, she'd put breadcrumbs into it, soak up the juice.
Yes. Yes.
And you know what? In the war, they're going about how hard it was rationing and all that. Fish and chips wasn't rationed, and nor was beer. So, I mean, I don't know why they were moaning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can have your fish and chips in the
beer every day, yeah.
I remember. Did you used to have the fish and chips in? God, it's like a Peter Kay.
I remember
Peter Kay now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fat bloke talking about nostalgia. But do you remember in the newspapers, fish and chips?
Yeah, I used to like that actually because it was interesting as well.
Yeah, you could have a read.
And the papers weren't toxic in them days. Do you remember that? Everything, all of a sudden.
Yeah, they said it was poisonous, and you got to have it in this white pack. Yeah,
I mean, it can't have been great to have all your chips.
Sometimes the story would imprint on the chip.
That's
lovely,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go. Oh, look, there's the story.
Page 3.
I mean, can you imagine?
Extra tasty.
This never happened to me, but can you imagine if, like, one Page Street breast had been imprinted onto your
nipple,
fish?
yeah.
A nipple on your chin.
Don't even go there. I remember in the old days when you used to go in the outer toilet and all you had was strips of newspaper.
Oh, yeah. I know. I don't. You'll remember that because you're from up north.
Well,
big and small.
it's funny you should say that, but my parents sold a house. And bought a new one. Anyway, there was a period of time when, courtesy of the lovely people at Bellway Homes, we were homeless for a bit because we paid for a new house that had been delayed in its construction. It wasn't horribly delayed, but we moved into one of those streets because my mum and dad, obviously, I think they were renting out one house and they bought another house, so they owned two houses simultaneously, and we're really in muck streets because so we moved into what can only be described as a Billy Elliot street, right? And literally had we had an indoor toilet as well. We had the outdoor toilet, but
that was a luxury up north, wasn't it? That was a rarity.
For a laugh, we went into the toilet, the outdoor one. It did still work, but my favourite story about that is, I think in 1909, when Manchester City Council put the outside toilets into all the slums, they said that they were built better than the houses themselves, which the famous Manchester phrase, "He's built like a brick shithouse." That is where that comes from.
Educational.
Oh, and Andre, I like that because that is true. Because around here where I live, I was sitting there and my partner, because I'm in a wheelchair, right, so I sit down a lot, and I'm looking up, and I thought, when I was a kid, there was windows here and windows there, and my old man said to me, "Have you never heard of daylight robbery?" And I said, "I'm sorry, what?" He said, "It's because you get taxed on your windows."
Yes.
And I'm like, "You're having a laugh?" He went, "No."
Yeah, that's right.
That's why a lot of buildings in London have a lot of their windows still bricked up from those times when you had to pay a window. They'll bring that back now, won't they, the Starmer's lot? They'll need to bring some...
What's those signs in London where it's something...
Light, something protected light.
Protected lights.
So you're not allowed to... Also, moustaches used to have a tax, a moustache tax.
There used to be a beard tax in Germany.
Oh, shut up.
No, there really was. It was a luxury item.
No,
it's true.
Are you having a laugh?
No, I've never been more serious in my life.
I mean, the German beard tax was partly anti-Semitic because they wouldn't shave their beards.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. They've taxed all sorts of things over the years.
I've never used Google, but I'm Googling it now because of all the...
Just take our word for it, don't you trust us?
But if you think about it, if you don't want to send inspectors round to everybody's house to work out how valuable their house is, a window tax makes a lot of sense because bigger houses have more windows.
I've never heard of that. That shocked me because I thought it was funny. He went, "No, I'm serious." I was like, "Well, I've got 24 windows. Don't tell me I'm going to get taxed."
Well, it wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway, what I phoned you up for, Andre, your hair looks nice, and I've missed you because I've been a bit ticky lately for a couple of months. I ain't been well, but I ain't going to bore you. But anyway, I really do, and I'll say this, I've been watching your show, and I really do absolutely have the utmost respect for you, especially you, Andre. You, Ash, I love
not
you.
me as much. Do you not have as much respect for me?
No, I do, but you...
Well, it didn't sounded like you didn't have as much respect.
How you do give Ken a chance.
Yeah, but hold on, we need to clear this up. Were you giving Andre more respect than me?
No, I respect it.
Are we on the equal respect level?
Andre is a saint, so...
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Well, what am I then, an angel?
Well, I wish you'd fly past my house. I could do with an angel. Halloween's coming.
By the way, do you agree with Gavin from Manchester who says, better. "Andre, you are," I don't know if I'm allowed to use that word, "Andre, you are a something, and you need benching in favour of Andy Goldstein from TalkSport." Are you allowed to say that?
Are we allowed to say pomps?
Okay.
You know what? Everyone's jealous of you, Andre.
Andy Goldstein.
Everybody wants me. Everybody wants. Okay, but Michelle, tell us. Right. So here's one thing. We've been talking about food and whatever, but one thing that really worries me, a friend of mine moved to Shadwell the other day, and he was talking about what they were saying about Hanwell in Birmingham. About Handsworth in Birmingham, forgive me. Handsworth in Birmingham, it not feeling very integrated. A lot of, so I detect from your accent...
I went to school there in the 80s and it wasn't integrated then.
I detect from your accent, Michelle, that you are very much a Londoner. You're what a Londoner sounds like to me.
Yeah. You know what?
That history of... That London tradition has gone now, hasn't it?
Yeah. No, do you know what? I was brought up in the... Well, I was born in the East End, but do you know what, Andre? We'll go out for a bit. I've worked in the best shops in the whole world. You can disguise... Do you know what? You can acquire an accent, but you can't acquire breeding. I might talk like this, but I'll tell you what... There's no bloke who can point at me and go, oi, oi, I had heard. Do you know what I mean?
No, but
I bet there's a couple of blokes that could.
But the point I'm making is...
I've been engaged to all of them, mate.
The point I'm making, though, Michelle, is that Cockney culture...
I had heard that, Michelle.
...has disappeared.
I've had it.
And I'm quite upset about it, mate, because I've been down the East End. I had to go to hospital, and I thought... Do you know what? Have I gone to another planet? Now, we've all got our differences, but when I grew up, and I get annoyed when people say, I didn't see colour because everyone was my mate. We were normal.
Yeah. Exactly. It was all sorted here. Until they bring that identity politics is when it causes all the splits.
But I was invited by a very lovely... I was invited by a very lovely chap to Bevis Marks synagogue, the real East End one, near Middlesex Street.
It's an old one from the 1700s, or maybe
and he said they have a regular attendance of 8.
Yeah, because they've all moved out. It's in the city, so there's not a lot of people
all out in Essex.
Yeah. Where did you move, Michelle, from the East End? Are you out in Ilford?
We got it backwards. My mum and dad moved from Barking to Enfield, then to Somerset, and then to the Calais, and then to Islington, and I thought, calm down, everyone, and that's why I'm not from Islington.
Do you live in Islington now, though?
Oh, yeah, don't even
Oh, it's lovely, Islington, it's beautiful now.
Ashamed.
It's very posh.
Now, pee off, like
it
you want
is.
pee off.
Oh, Ash, you're having a laugh.
There's a lot of council houses in Islington, isn't there? A lot of council houses.
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner.
No, it ain't even that. North London, East London, we're all different. It's like all up north. No one Do you know what, Andre? And I'll tell you something. You are so educated. I could go out with a margarita with you. But
Let's do it. Let's do it.
The English
He's up for it.
Like
margarita and a smash burger.
And then you could go, I've had that, Michelle, and you get...
I go. Yeah, she's relatively easy. You just get one buy one drink.
A couple of margaritas.
She's bar eats.
Yeah, calm down, ladies. I love her. All right. Chill out.
Right.
But Londoners don't like England don't like the Irish. The Irish don't like the Scottish. The Scottish don't like the English. And guess what? The English don't like the English.
But
this is why we can't stick together, because we're all about class. You know, you've got to, come from your roots.
But somebody told me that people from across the United Kingdom built the West Coast Main Line in Islington, and they were all fighting in the pubs.
The navvies, yeah.
So they created the Edinburgh Castle, the Dublin Castle, and
the Warwick Castle.
Yeah.
In Camden, that's for all the navvies.
You want to come down, and I've got one pub here and one pub there. One pub, you're like, hello, I'm on guard, like, calm down. In the other pub, it's all yah. And I think to myself, hello, but it's like being up Highgate. Do you know what? You should never lose your...
it's like the separation after King Edward III. One side of the family end up as Danny Dyer, and the other end up as King Charles.
Where'd you go in Highgate? You go to the Woodsman. I like the Woodsman. Do you ever go up there?
Oh, you go up there, do you know what it is? It's a different world because, I mean, your eye outside, you won't get flooded. But I love it. And do you know what really loves me, I love, is they're dog friendly. And to me, I think I don't care where you come from or anything, you like animals, so we're cool. And also, boys, I have to tell you this. Have you got your phone near you, Ash?
Yeah.
Right. This is me, myself, and I was brought up like we used to have the Lord's Prayer, and
What's
then
that
we
got to do with
used
my
to
phone?
listen.
I've lost interest.
We used to listen to what is it, Madam Butterfly and Swan Lake. That used to calm the kids down before they went
What's
to
that got to do with my phone?
But I'll spell it out here. This is my religion. This is why I wanted to have a beans with Ken. ANIMISM, right? This is it's old in Christianity. Yeah, it's old in Christianity because to me,
what's that got to do
I
with
want to go out and hug a tree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. That was Michelle in London. That was very
Who's a
informative.
Messinian or something.
Anyway, give us a ring, 03444991000. Mark, Phil, Larry, anyway, loads of you. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, this is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould, and I think it's now time for Yasmin and the Teenage Witch. Yasmin the Teenage Witch, rather.
Hiya, darling.
Hello.
Hi.
I'd just like to talk about Halloween that's going to be coming up.
That's right, yeah. Well,
that'll get Ken happy.
Put a turnip in your window.
A few little traditions that are brilliant. First of all, before Halloween comes in, cleanse the house. The second thing is put apples outside the doorway with honey on them. The third thing is light candles to bring the light back into the energy. The veil is the thinnest at Halloween, and that's great for seeing spirits, doing a Ouija, or doing card readings, or having spiritual...
And what will that do when you hang the apple out with the... What does it give you?
What that does is it feeds the hungry ghosts that are walking the earth at Halloween.
Oh, right, yeah.
Casper the hungry ghost.
So, yeah.
I live in a development where we've got an orchard for the residents, right?
Yeah.
What should I do with that? Should I just throw honey onto the trees?
No. What you do is you get an apple, cut it through the middle, open it up, and there's a pentagram on each side of the apple.
Right.
And you put that outside your door with some honey, and you can...
Well, won't that attract rats?
No, what it is...
I mean, it will.
It's for the hungry ghost.
No, I understand that, but when it's missing in the morning, it's much more likely to be vermin that's taking it away than Casper.
No, it's not like that, Andy.
Goats.
It's the energy of the apple. It's the energy of the apple.
No,
if a goat eats an apple, it'd just go right through and it hit the floor.
No, it won't. It's the energy, the essence.
The energy of the apple.
But no, on a serious note, Yasmin, on a serious note, if you get a piece of fruit, smear it with honey and leave it outside your door, it's going to attract the mice and rats.
And bears.
Let me explain. I'll give you another thing to do then.
Right.
Get a little glass, fill it with brandy. By the time of the morning comes, it'll be half empty.
That's called evaporation.
Spirit, no, it doesn't evaporate at night as fast. Spirit, use that energy. Spirit comes through water and electricity, and they use that energy. But what I'm telling
so we should
you
leave our
is,
sockets on.
if people want to contact the relatives, the past relatives, ancestors, have a spiritual communication, Halloween's the thinnest time of the veil between us, spirit, and ancestors.
Right.
And the
Lenny Henry will be pleased.
Listen, I don't know what Lenny Henry said, but about reparations for slavery. Is that right?
Yeah. 19 trillion.
Well, there's two things I'm going to say about that. Britain did take a lot of money and goods and things out of these countries, and now a few of them, like Jamaica and places like that, are absolutely poor in a lot of areas. And I do believe we should contribute something back. They can't just
we do in a military alliance called the Commonwealth. Well, quasi-military alliance.
I'm on about money. I'm on about physical things, going in there, building
But
things.
if you look at the British Virgin Islands, it's a tax haven controlled by the City of London. And when we say tax haven, what that means is British companies or companies that are advised by people in London can move their tax domicile status to places like the British Virgin Islands, to places like Jamaica, to places like Jersey and Guernsey.
Yeah, but
those
there are
governments
a lot,
take the money and we don't.
Andre, there is a lot of porness in Jamaica, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I accept that.
You know what I mean? I mean, tell me something if you don't mind. I know it's your personal business, but you know when you said your dad's got that sugar thing coming up, plantation, is he actually got any slaves on it?
2,000.
No. So just to be very clear, my grandmother later in life married a very, very old school sort of colonel-y type bloke with a curly moustache who'd grown up within that colonial class in Mauritius, and he owned shares in, it's called something like Montrezor Mon Desserts or something, which is and it's changed its name to Omnicane, but basically he had shares from his family in the sugar plantation, and my dad inherited them. Now the thing that's weird about it,
what, he inherited
a slave plantation.
He inherited the sugar.
Andre owns a slave plantation.
He inherited the sugar plantation.
It's outrageous.
But okay. So first of all, he inherited it from somebody he wasn't related to, only related
That's what they all say.
by marriage. But then the next bit of it was, in order to go and claim his shareholding in the sugar plantation, you can't actually do it in London. You have to go all the way to Mauritius to do it. And my dad, if you met him, was too cheap to fly him and my mum to Mauritius.
Is it still a plantation without slaves?
I don't know if it's ever had slaves. If I'm being, probably had in Mauritius, but I mean, it's now owned by the locals in Mauritius. And anyway, so
probably China then.
So my dad, has shares in the sugar. But just to be clear, I'm making a bit of a joke. It's a small shareholding from some obscure relative. We have never owned slaves.
Tell that to the judge.
Okay. The other thing I want to say, Andre, you know when you pull that fella out of that.
He pulled a fella
out of that room. You dragged him out of the room.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got an idea about that.
Yeah, you pulled him off, didn't you?
If you were in a room with a lot of people who are sat down and somebody's heckling you, you don't know if they've got a noxious substance
well, that's
on them
correct.
or a knife.
That's what he assumed.
And when you grabbed his arms and pulled him out, was that to stop him, like, putting his hands in his pockets and hurting somebody off?
The problem is Byline Times said that they've made all sorts of allegations, so I don't want to go into it just in case it all ends up in court and I end up suing them.
He thought he had something on him.
Right.
I think because it was a lot of Americans there that you was a hero because you don't know if he'd have grabbed somebody.
That's what he was thinking. That is what he was thinking. He could have something dangerous on him and he saved the day. He should be given a George Cross.
Here's the bit.
Sat down and they all.
He could have done anything.
Also, I was right.
Anything. You don't know what.
He didn't know what he could do.
Rather than tell me what happened, I'll tell you what happened. I was the host because it's local residents that can book the building, Windsor Guildhall. I was the host of the event, and the people that were there are people who've slashed paintings, thrown soup on the painting, and that historic collection is worth millions. So I absolutely
and they could have hurt someone.
Did not want them.
They could have hurt somebody.
Well, they could have done.
There you
go. The other thing is, it was to me. It was a terror attack.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Terror is about frightening people, and I reckon there were some people in that room would have been frightened.
I completely agree. Also, I don't want to get into this, but he is an NHS doctor. He's not got a real job in the NHS. I'll tell you what he was, and I won't name his name because I don't want to end up in a big argument, but he's very clear. My dad said this to me. He said, the problem is with somebody like that, he's just a rich kid. When you read what he was doing as an NHS doctor, it was clearly just a part-time hobby job. He wasn't actually in the front line dealing with COVID and stuff like that. Anyway, Yasmin, the Teenage Witch, thank you so much. I don't want to get into the whole argument with all these people.
He was in fear of his life, though.
Let's go to a break. We're back in a moment. By the way, my mate Steve's been in touch. You just don't know how additionally funny it is that my dad owns a sugar plantation. If you'd met Big Stan, it's even funnier, because you know how you think of these people, the sort of colonial types, you know, in the imperial whites and all this. My dad is literally the opposite of that. Yeah. Big Stan.
Save it for the court.
Big Stan and his sugar plantation in Mauritius. Anyway, Paul is in Warrington.
Paul sniggering away. Hi, Paul in Warrington.
Hi, mate. You all right?
You all right, man?
Yeah, good, thanks. I just want to say, like, it's a great show, and I've just got someone saying it's like lost was that. It's like I think in a way we're creating our own downfall. Because I went to the pub today and it used to be called the Mad Hatter, and now it's called the Hatter. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, because you can't say Mad Hatter, yeah.
You can't say Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
And
it's like the Turk's head, you can't.
Well, it's exactly like, I mean, I don't know if we can use the word,
a white lion.
But there's pubs named after well-known dogs.
Yeah.
The black BITCH.
Yeah.
Right? Now at the end of the day, it may well be that you've changed the meaning of black from the colour of an animal to an ethnicity. But when and also BITCH is the name of a female dog.
There used to be an Indian called the Gaylord in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I love the name Balti Towers.
But I've got a ginger cat anyway. You know what I mean?
You've got ginger what?
A cat called Ginger Snap.
Oh right, yeah. And you take the mick out of her?
Yeah, sometimes.
For being ginger.
Garden. Yeah, well, not really. It's a cat dog, but it's
so it doesn't really know,
Yeah, it's a ginger snap, yeah. So
that's how you get all your ginger prejudice out on your cat.
Yeah,
so
I'm on a ginger prejudice at Sheeran, really.
Yeah.
It's not Ed Sheeran, I don't like him.
And
I think his name stands for eating disorder, G-Ram.
What do you do in Warrington? What do you do for a living out there?
I don't work.
What do you do, just like claim benefit and that?
Yeah, claim benefits, at the moment. Yeah, I want to work. I've got bipolar. So.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
And just let me ask you, the mental health treatment in Warrington, is it any good?
It's good. It's good. I've had like very good nurses.
I think it's good when you get on the system in the NHS, but it can take 2 or 3 years to get seen.
Yeah, I got ill in corfu, so I got on the ill. I got.
How does the bipolar manifest itself? Is it just you fine one day and then just very depressed the next?
Down and up, isn't it?
I think it depends. I think it's stress me. I think it's the barrier, and like Bob Dylan said, how your human mind can handle so much.
Did you have it in early as your childhood, or did it come on in adulthood?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's teenage angst or.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, really.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, really.
Because I mean, everybody's deeply upset when they're a teenager, aren't they? I mean, it's just not.
Yeah, but I mean, bipolar is very. I've known people, and it can be very serious, can't it?
Of course.
They get hypers, and then you're very down, and it's like a few days, or it can be a few weeks, and then it can be up and like that, isn't it?
I get down when I ain't got no money.
Well, I mean, that's true of most people. Yeah. But one of the problems that you have with mental health that I've noticed is that I think there are gradients, aren't there? There are some people who, from their childhood, have got very severe mental health problems, and that's just something they'll deal with their entire life. But I think for most of us, under certain circumstances, we can be pushed into it, right?
Yeah. So some is neurochemicals, and that can't be helped, and some is a situation like you say, money. And
so, as an example, everybody who's lost
neighbours as well, neighbours.
Yeah, everybody who's lost a child is depressed, as an example. But that's not necessarily mental health. But what I genuinely think, for me, I think that that what we've done recently in terms of uncontrolled immigration, in terms of increasing poverty, in terms of increasing the price of fuel and food, and the lockdown, I think all of that has pushed lots of people into mental health problems or made it worse for people.
I think as well. No, in them schools, like the mosques and who's dressing the teachers? No, the women teachers. Do they do show and tell in Girls for Girls in school? We used to have show and tell. The girls used to do show and tell. You know what I mean?
Show and tell.
Show and tell. What is it?
Show and tell. It's like it's like you bring an item in from school.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You bring an item in from school. Now, if the lads in there, like the Muslim mosque, are getting divided by the girls, you know what I mean? So who's dressing the teachers And the women, I feel sorry for the women, the Muslim women.
I don't really know what he's talking about. So let's go. John in John in Sutton. Hi, John.
I didn't go anything.
What he's talking about. Yeah.
All right, John, go for it.
Dressing teachers.
Yeah. Just want to say, Andre, I admire your courage, and I mean that.
Thanks so much.
Against the woke.
What was he courageous about?
Well, when the woke were being very spiteful and vindictive and cancelling people, he didn't care about his career. He stood up for what was right, and I admire him for that.
And now he's got no career, but we admire him.
No, but you.
Can I tell you, my phrase is, we are going to win. I don't sit here being depressed. I think that we will win. I think we will get our country back. And I think that, can I tell you something? If there's going to be an argument, I think it's important that we lead it, because that's our job.
And you did, and you do, and keep doing it. Andre, can I just say briefly about the conversation between Grace and
yes, please do.
I really enjoyed that. And I'd just like to quote the parable of the Good Samaritan when it comes to loving thy neighbour. It's not extolling the virtues of the Samaritan, thoroughly decent human being though he was. It's a condemnation of the man who was Rob's fellow countryman, walking past on the other side, ignoring his plight.
Correct.
But we have a duty to one another first.
Yes.
That's loving thy neighbour.
I completely agree, and I gave the example of Moses in the wilderness, where they said, yes, we do act as a community, but what you've got to do is you've got to look after the people in your tent first. And always remember one thing about the Israelites, and this is a bit that people forget. When they left Egypt, they could do one thing, make bricks, because that's all they did. And in that 40 years in the wilderness, where they moaned about it, because it was awful, they learnt to be artisans. They were able to build the first temple from the knowledge that they had. The first menorah, I think, was created.
But the people that went into 40 years of slavery, the people that went in never got to the promised land. It was their kids did. They never let anyone who was not free get into the promised land.
But what happened, Asher, as a result of working together as a community and favouring your own people, those skills began to develop. Now, what I think happened in the wilderness is this. Obviously, they didn't have... who was it? The first artificer in metal, Jarkin, the first artificer in metal. He had to learn how to do it, didn't it? I mean, it's just a crazy story.
That's a bit of your Freemasonry coming out there.
I just thought I'd throw that in. Boom, there we go.
Thank you, John. And anyway, it's that time again. It's the big show after us, if you're staying on the radio, because TalkSport, TalkTV amalgamate as one, and serving it up is Ben Fletcher.
I can't believe I got caught making that joke.
You said the big show. Who's...
It's your show, Ben.
Oh, is it?
You and Marky.
It is big time.
And I've heard rumours you've got. You're talking about U-boats and stuff like that. It's not just sport. It's interesting as well. Other things.
It's not just the international break. It's not just England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Yeah. I'm delighted to welcome to the show late this morning Roger Morehouse. Yeah. Who is a renowned war author, war historian.
Yeah, man.
And he's talking about his new book, Hitler's U-Boat War, which is all about the kind of an often forgotten part of the Second World War, the U-boats. Winston Churchill said it was the one aspect of the Nazi machine that frightened him the most, and Roger tells it from the German perspective.
And of course the Enigma machine was what... And they had U-boats in the First World War
as well.
They
did, and he touches on that. He touches on that very much. They saw them off the coast of Suffolk and thought, what on earth are those?
I could never be a submariner, man. No. Although they get treated very well. They get great meals and looked after because they're in such
somebody told me that when a submarine hits another submarine, there is a moment of joy and then a moment of sadness, simply because they know what's going on in the other submarine. Yeah. And it is a horrendous disaster.
They implode. It's like an implosion, and it's horrendous, obviously.
But they had gramophones on there. So
that's all right,
for all the terrible conditions, they did have gramophones. I don't want to give too much away.
They have, I mean, the food is always famously brilliant on submarines.
The current ones, they like have chefs and all great. It's because of the life is so bad. And in Russia,
average U-boat captain, though, was only 23.
Yeah. It's a little bit like RF pilots. A very short life.
But what else are you talking about? Sports-wise?
Sports-wise, it's the international break, so a big 3-0 win for England. Scotland are doing very well as well in World Cup qualifying.
And what about Northern Ireland versus Slovakia?
Yeah, 2-0 win for them. They're doing very well.
Do you know what? I've got such a good friend. I've got a really good friend who's a Northern Ireland fan. And what he said is, when you are from a small country, you know, it's things like this that are so special.
Yeah.
Because obviously, even qualifying for things like the World Cup is just a huge challenge for the small all countries. Is this team on the up, Northern Ireland, or is it just...
Is it a renaissance of all the British teams?
It seems, well, I mean, the Republic of Ireland, who aren't part of Great Britain, but part of the British Isles, I think.
They've never been part of Great Britain.
No, absolutely. But they're part of the Isles, as it were. They're not doing so well. They play Portugal later today. But yeah, not bad. I mean, Northern Ireland in a group with Germany, so they'll struggle to finish top, but they're in the mix. But
never mind all that. It's England that's the most important.
No, hang on a second. But they are in the mix. So I don't know a lot about football, but you have to come first or second in your group, don't you, to qualify?
It's first to qualify automatically, and second gets you a playoff place.
Okay.
So Scotland are actually vying for first place with Denmark at the moment, so they can qualify automatically.
So Scotland look like they'll go through automatically.
They could do.
It may well
then get kicked out in the opening stages.
As they often do.
Would we end up... Hang on. Is it possible... Just so I understand this, is it possible that Scotland will kick Denmark out in their group and then they'll go into the playoffs with Northern Ireland and Northern Ireland will boot them out again? Because I've got nothing against Denmark, but that would be quite cool.
It would be... Scotland could end up in the playoffs in Northern Ireland, that is conceivable.
Oh, really?
But Denmark are a quality side, aren't they?
They're a very good side. Kasper Schmeichel, of course, son of Peter, plays in goal for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, loads going on. We'll do the usual
He's
music
just been
quiz.
bred for action, hasn't he? They're just basically... Peter's run out of steam.
It's like mini-me.
Do you know what it's like? It's like that. Do you remember Ivan Drago from Rocky?
He bleeds.
If he dies, he dies.
It's like, I must break you.
That's a great film, by the way.
Rocky 4, that was.
Yeah, there's a deleted scene in that where at the very end he's in a bar. You've seen this?
No.
Love the Rocky films. There's a deleted scene where at the very end of Rocky 4 he's in a bar and some soldiers are drinking and he goes up to them and he whacks them. And he has like one last moment of drunken glory. He's all unkempt and unshaven in his uniform.
Really?
# spoiler alert.
By the way, I'll tell you, if you want to watch a film, there is a new film out, believe it or not. It's called Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. It was how